Good afternoon from wherever you may be listening, coming to you live here at George Sparky Anderson Field at the Cal-Lu campus here. And we have a matchup between the Conejo Oaks versus the MLB Academy Barons as they face off for the fourth time this season. We saw the Barons three times, last week when the Oaks took down two of those three matchups. It also handed the Oaks their first loss of the season. But as we come into this week, the Oaks suffered their first loss of this week in a shutout loss to the Arroyo Seco Saints as they lost 8-0. But I think the bigger loss that we saw was Brady Hewitt going out with a broken nose. Alongside me is Sammy Font. I'm Gino Conyas. What did you make of that game yesterday, and where are the Oaks going to have to grow for today?
Yeah, I mean, going off of Brady Hewitt, it's the third injury that the Oaks have suffered this season, having lost Jonathan Smith to a fractured jaw and Nate Johnson, problems with his shoulder after that swing. But I think really yesterday, that play was a backbreaker, but at the same time, the Oaks just did not capitalize on the opportunities that they had offensively, and defensively they were a little shaky. But there were several innings when they put many runners on base. Even a couple times they loaded the bases, once with nobody out. But the Saints, they got the double plays when they needed to, and the Saints, they just kept the Oaks offense at base. So I think coming into today, the Oaks are obviously not happy about that loss or the way they played yesterday. And so I think today you're going to see the Oaks a lot hungrier and, you know, with a lot more incentive to come out and win. But at the same time, the Barons also a team that have struggled against the Oaks. They did win 4-2 last Friday in Compton at home at MLB Youth Academy, but it should be a good matchup today.
Certainly, and like you said, Sammy, it was those self-inflicted wounds. The Oaks went back-to-back innings where they had loaded bases and just could not capitalize. It's been their first shutout of the 2025 season, but we get underway here at George Sparky Anderson Field. As it is Tyler Gren to get things started on the mound for the Oaks that are wearing their navy jerseys and white pants. And that's hit on into left center field for a base hit right there by Nathaniel Williams as the leadoff man gets things started. He's coming off back-to-back home run games. Had a home run in the Friday win versus the Oaks, and then another home run on Sunday versus the Santa Barbara Foresters.
Yeah, and that home run that he hit against the Oaks, we were there for it. It was a no-doubter to right field.
And in the second hole is DJ Akiyama, the shortstop for the Barons. The Barons wearing their all-gray uniforms today. He takes a ball on the outside. And so, yes, the Barons and the Oaks meeting for the fourth time this season. Most recently, the Oaks were able to get a win in their matchup on Saturday, where they beat the Barons 6-3. That's chopped foul off to the right. And let's get to this batting order for the Barons. It's Trevor Schmidt at the 3-hole. He'll be playing first base. Jason Del Villar out at left field. Trevor Gooden at DH today. Antonio Lujan at center field. Jacob Klinowski at right. Colin Taylor at third base. And Isaac Ocampo behind the dish. As Gren checks at first, Williams gets back safely. And yeah, like I said, it was the first shutout for the Oaks in the 2025 season, Sammy, and then we have to go back to 2024 of July 21st was the last time we'd seen the Oaks get shut out. That swung on chop to short. Moore gets under that, tags the base, gets the double play to go. So the 6-3 gets two straight outs for the Oaks here in the first inning.
Yeah, routine double play for the Conejo Oaks. It's something that they endured too many times, they would tell you yesterday. So, you know, it's good for them to see that early on. And quick two outs for Tyler Gren. Last time we saw him was last Wednesday against the Santa Barbara Foresters in that 9-5 victory.
And that's in there for a strike, I apologize. Yeah, Tyler Gren right now in 2 games that he's started, 6.75 ERA. The 0-1 to Schmidt. That's in there for another strike. Schmidt down early in the count, 0-2. And the Barons coming off a 4-3 loss to the San Diego Bombers yesterday. That's low for a ball. Schmidt right now batting .333 on the season, is tied for first on the team with 5 runs, has 7 hits, and owner of one of the 4 home runs that the Barons have this season. That's in the dirt for a ball. Count now even at 2. The Barons actually are 4th in all of the California Collegiate League in home runs, as they have 4 on the season. 2 of those from their leadoff man, Nathaniel Williams. Schmidt with another, and Antonio Lujan, the center fielder, with the other one. 2-2 here. That's shot foul to the right.
Yeah, the home run ball, something that the Oaks have seen 2 of on their team. And, you know, collectively in the Oaks' games, they have seen the home run ball a total of 3 times, twice from their own guys, and, you know, once from Nathaniel Williams last Friday at Compton.
That's smoked into right field as that's going to drop for a base hit, and Schmidt gets onto the base with 2 outs. Good piece of hitting right there to keep the Barons alive here in the first inning.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting there by Trevor Schmidt. Got out in front of that baseball, roped it into right field. The Barons seen a double play, but they're in business.
And that brings up Jason Del Villar, the left fielder here for the Barons, looking with 2 outs and a runner on first base. And Gren now facing his 4th batter of the day. And Villar takes a strike over the plate. 0-1 to Villar. Villar right now batting .316 on the season. Has yet to score a run, but has 6 hits along with 3 RBIs out of Sonoma State. 0-1 to Villar. Swing and a miss. Strike number 2. And Tyler Gren, you know, his summer's kind of coming to an end with the Oaks. Is only going to be here till June 26th. His last game will be on June 25th when they face off against the Arroyo Seco Saints next Tuesday. Call time as a ball from the bullpen, from the Barons bullpen, rolls all the way to the backstop here at George Sparky Anderson Field.
Yeah, at least a couple guys for the Oaks. Another guy who played last year, Landon West, only set to be on the, not currently active, I don't think, but set to be until early July, if that.
0-2 to Villar. Takes a ball outside. And Tyler Gren to finish it off. In those 2 starts, he allowed 12 hits, had 5 strikeouts, and 8 innings pitched. Most recently saw him against the Foresters last Saturday. That's grounded to second. Falskin's going to get under it, throw in time. That's going to get the 3rd out. So we'll head to the bottom of the first, 0-0. And welcome back here to George Sparky Anderson Field as we get the bottom of the first underway with the Oaks and Tommy Kendlinger, the center fielder, making now his 6th straight appearance in the leadoff spot, as he is right now batting .211 with 4 runs, 4 hits, and has a double on the season. He was 1 for 3 yesterday with a walk in the shutout loss versus the Saints. And it's Isaac Fernandez on the mound for the Barons to get things started. That's high inside for a ball. Fernandez, in his only appearance, was in the 10-5 loss versus the Oaks last Tuesday, where he went 4 innings, allowed 7 runs, 7 hits, and only 2 strikeouts, along with 3 walks. Kendlinger takes a strike.
Yeah, a chance for Fernandez to start here. I think it's a great chance, certainly, for him to really develop himself this summer as a pitcher and lock into a rhythm and just find a groove on the mound.
1-1. It's outside for a ball. And to get this batting order started for the Oaks, the leadoff man Kendlinger. Following up is Zach Moore, now playing shortstop today. Jacob Galloway going to be behind the dish. Nolan Johnson at DH. That's outside for a ball. Count now 3-1. Tyler Hawley at third base. Jake Schwartz at first base. Isaac Villa at left field. And then the last two to finish us off is Jax Jimenez and Cade Falskin, who's kind of found a home at the 9-hole for the Oaks. That is your Conejo Oaks batting order today. 3-1 to Kendlinger. It's outside for a ball. It's a leadoff walk to get things started for the Oaks in the bottom of the first inning.
Let's see if the Oaks can capitalize here. It's always great if you're the offensive team to have your leadoff guy walk, especially because, you know, leadoff batter is someone who's known to get on base a lot and someone who can run the bases really well. And for a guy like Kendlinger, it's all those little things that can go a long way for the Oaks, and he can definitely find ways to score.
Brings up Zach Moore here for the Oaks. Was the DH yesterday, now and filling in at the shortstop for the injured Brady Hewitt. Slaps that foul off to the left. And yeah, we talked about it a little bit pregame, but now it's like 3 substantial injuries that the Oaks are facing with Nate Johnson, Jonathan Smith, and now Brady Hewitt, who is dealing with a broken nose that he took in a awkwardly hit ball to shortstop in their loss yesterday. 0-1 to Mora. That's over the head of Mora for a ball. Had to duck under for that one.
Yeah, Mora is definitely filling a huge hole for the Conejo Oaks right now. I mean, you know, stepping up to the number 2 spot is big, but also having any shortstop injured is substantial. I mean, shortstop is arguably the most important position on the infield, filling in a huge gap up the middle.
1-1 to Mora. Off goes Kendlinger. That's fouled off. And Kendlinger will return to first base. Yeah, Hewitt was second on the team in hits with 8 when he entered the game yesterday. And so, yeah, both defensively and offensively, it's going to be a tough miss for the Oaks. And a broken nose is nothing to play about. 1-2 to Mora. Kendlinger on first. Fernandez checks. Kendlinger slides back safely. So we resume at 1-2 to Mora. Mora right now hitting .231 on the season with 1 run and 3 hits. Has 2 doubles. 1-2. Off goes Kendlinger. The throw is not in time, and Kendlinger slides in safely, and that'll be a stolen base.
Well, Kendlinger was cruising on that stolen base, slid right into second. The strikeout of Mora, but Kendlinger able to slide right in there on that high throw. And like I said, doing the little things early on, especially when you get your leadoff guy on.
And Coach David Solis going over to the home plate umpire and having a word with him. Something about either where the strike was called. So that'll be Fernandez's first strikeout of the game. He had 2 in that loss versus the Oaks on Tuesday of last week. Brings up Jacob Galloway, who takes a strike low.
Also, it looks like Kendlinger was actually called out.
And it appears he was. We'll have to get more of a better word on that, but yeah, there is no runners on base now, so it's 2 outs for the Barons as Jacob Galloway faces an 0-1. Chops that just foul. As it hits the first baseline right before first base itself. And they called a catcher's interference. I guess that would be on Isaac Ocampo. But I don't. We'll get a better word as we head back into the second inning. But right now, Jacob Galloway faces an 0-2. Galloway is 4th on the team with batting .364 this season. First with 7 runs and 7 hits, leading the Oaks. 0-2. That's outside for a ball.
Yeah, well, if it was a catcher's interference, that would have allowed more at first base, maybe a batter's interference, but.
And I think it was a misused phrase by our statistician. 1-2 to Galloway. And they're saying it was a batter's interference. I apologize.
Yeah,
swing and a miss for Galloway as he goes down. That's 2 straight strikeouts for Fernandez to get out of this first inning. We're still squared at 0. And up comes Tommy Gooden to get things started here the second inning as we are still scored at 0. And yeah, just a correction on my part, it was actually a batter's interference, not a catcher's interference. Catcher's interference would have allowed more, as Sammy stated, would have allowed more to go to first base. But we'll take a look back as that's popped into left field. Veal waits for it. He makes the play out there in left field. So we'll get to your Oaks defensive lineup here as Jacob Galloway is behind the dish today. Jake Schwartz at first base, Cade Falskin at second, Tyler Hawley at third, Zach Mora filling in the shoes for Brady Hewitt at shortstop, Isaac Veal out in left, Ken Dillinger out in his natural position at center field, and Jax Jimenez making his now second straight start at right field, the sophomore from Oregon. That's outside for a ball.
Yeah, so on that catcher's interference play, I think what the umpire was saying there was that Zach Mora had stepped out of the box and in the direction of the plate, and technically in doing so impeded with the catcher's ability to make a throw to first, or to second.
And Jake Schwartz just pitches it over to Gren for the second out of this inning.
It's not a play that you see very often.
No, it is not, but as we've been well aware this season. There are many things you don't expect, and then they do happen. I personally didn't see really more interfere with the catcher much.
I didn't think I did either.
It's in there for a strike, as that brings up the Cal State East Bay Jacob Klinowski, the right fielder who's batting 190 on the season with 4 hits and 3 runs. Gets a good piece of that, rips that to right field as Jimenez goes back, and that ball is gone. A solo shot for Klinowski to get things started here in the 2nd inning.
Boy, what a shot that was right off the bat of Jacob Klinowski. You could see that ball was, practically was gone when it left the bat.
And that one at 360 feet past the right field fence, just over all of those Calu banners. And that was almost a line drive. I didn't really get much hang time. It really just went straight over the fence over to right field. So the Barons now with a 1-0 lead with 2 outs. That's swung on to left field as that's going to drop for a base hit, and that is Isaac Ocampo with a single. And
for Jacob Klinowski, his first home run of the summer.
Apologize, that was Colin Taylor who hit that single off to left field. And so with 2 outs, the Barons making some noise. So now this brings up Isaac Ocampo at the bottom of the order for the Barons. And that's going to hit Ocampo in the left shoulder as he tries to shake that one off and walks to first base. And so after 2 quick outs, the Barons now have runners on first and second and a 1-0 lead here at the top of the 2nd inning.
Yeah, just the 2nd home run allowed by Conejo Oaks pitching this season. Saw the first one at MLB Academy, or at MLB Youth Academy in Compton.
So Nathaniel Williams back to the plate as he's the home run leader for the Barons with 2 on the season. Takes the ball low. 1-0.
Yeah, Williams had hit that first home run against the Oaks off Caden Beloyan. And I said it a lot, but I mean, it went way over the right field wall.
Yeah, absolutely crushed that one. 1-0 to Williams. That's grounded through the infield for a base hit as Jimenez kind of bobbles it, and now here comes Taylor. He's home. And the throw is and they're now going to go to review as that was Isaac Ocampo who slid into third base. And they're going to call him safe. Didn't seem to give a signal, but they will call him safe. So the throw does not get in time from Jimenez, and that scores another run for the Barons.
Yeah, big hit by Nathaniel Williams on that RBI single, and it's tough to say if Jimenez would have had a shot to throw out Colin Taylor at the plate, but the bobble, kind of costly nonetheless.
So now it's DJ Akiyama back to the plate. Grounded into a double play in the 1st inning. So now here for his 2nd time today. Leads the team with 7 hits. Off goes Williams. That ball is cracked into right center field as Jimenez with a diving grab to get the 3rd out of the inning. And a game-changing play right there by Jimenez, and we head to the bottom of the 2nd as the Barons lead 2-0. And up comes Nolan Johnson for the first time today, now making his second straight start in this lineup. Today he's playing the role of designated hitter. Saw him at second base, and then the day before we saw him at first base. So showing his utility early as he takes the first pitch from Fernandez. Johnson takes a strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, I just want to talk about that last play in right center field by Jax Jimenez. He covered a lot of ground, and after bobbling a ball following a single from Williams, that's huge for him to dive in left center field. That is a game changer right there.
And that hit Johnson in the hand, and so he's going to take a walk to first base. Yeah, I only echo your words, Sammy. That was one hell of a grab, and I very much a needed play right there, just only in the second inning, as that was potentially going to clear the bases and add another 2 runs to what was already a 2-run inning for the Barons. And it was a 366-foot home run that Jacob Klinowski hit. His first of the season, and then it was followed up by a RBI single by Nathaniel Williams to bring in Colin Taylor. So the Barons come into play today. That brings up Tyler Hawley here. Checks at first. Johnson slides in safely. And so we saw the Barons, they took very similar to how they started the game in their Friday victory last week versus the Oaks. Came out hot, swinging a lot at first pitches. Here's Hawley. Takes the ball way upstairs. Count is 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, saw a first pitch single from Nathaniel Williams with that single in the top of the first inning, and something you like to see as an offense. If you can get a good first pitch, hey, why not fire away?
So that was the 5th home run for the Barons of the season. That's way over Hawley's head as Johnson's going to advance to second base. Pitch just got away from Fernandez right there.
Yeah, and it allows Johnson to get to second. It could be key play in this game, getting a runner into scoring position, especially with less than 2 outs with nobody out. And a hitter's count on Tyler Hawley. Hawley, a hitter who has been heating up, representing the tying run.
Yeah, the Conejo Oaks Player of the Week last week in the California Collegiate League. 2-0 to Hawley. Takes the ball low. So entering this game, the Barons were 4th in home runs. It's likely to change with another home run today. But yeah, it goes back to your point. You talked about a pregame, Sammy, of being able to capitalize on runners in scoring position. That was just something we did not see yesterday. So with Johnson at second base, there's an opportunity here for the Oaks with 0 outs. Hawley looks on a 3-0 pitch as Fernandez steps off. You look at the standings right now, the Oaks sitting at 3rd place. Santa Barbara Forcers at 6-1. The Arroyo Seco Saints at 5-3. And the Orange County Riptide, who the Oaks will see on Friday, sitting at 5-4. 3-0. Hawley takes a strike on the outside corner. Counts now 3-1. Yesterday's loss was also the 2nd home loss for the Oaks. They have lost 2 Saturdays ago to the Forsters at home, and then the loss yesterday was their 2nd. 3-1 to Hawley. Hawley gets a good piece of that, but fouls it off to the left.
Quickly did the math, too. The Oaks left 12 runners on base yesterday.
Well, when you have multiple times that you had bases loaded, it's going to sting a little bit more.
It certainly is. Yeah, 2 of those innings they had bases loaded. One time with nobody out.
So full count here to Hawley as the Barons with 0 outs. Fernandez playing 9 games. And that goes over the head of Holly, and it might have just clipped him on the shoulder. Johnson advances to third. Sounded a little bit like it did hit him, but regardless, it was a ball nonetheless, and Holly will walk over to first base.
Yeah, I thought I heard like a very subtle clip of what may have been his jersey. I mean, you know, the ball certainly up and in. He did his best to get out of the way, but if that ball did hit Holly, then that would keep Johnson at second because the ball is dead at that point.
Yeah, so Johnson advances to third, and now there's a meeting at the mound with the pitching coach for the Barons, AJ Monterez, and the catcher, Isaac Ocampo. And so right now the Oaks with 0 outs have an opportunity here to bring in runs of their own as Nolan Johnson at third base and Tyler Holly just walked to first.
Yeah, they have a chance to do what they were unable to do yesterday, and the batter right here, Jake Schmidt, Jake Schwartz, I beg your pardon. Schwartz came into the game as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning.
Yeah, he's batting .333 on the season. It's 2 RBIs, 4 hits, and 2 runs. One of those hits being a double.
He flew out in his only at-bat yesterday.
So here's the first pitch to Schwartz. He takes the ball low.
Yeah, the Oaks right here, they got the tying runs on base. Runners at the corners, and Schwartz, a very good hitter for the Oaks.
1-0 to Schwartz. Takes the ball outside. Count now at 2. It's interesting to note the Barons give up the 5th most walks in this league. They've given up a total of 49 walks as a pitching staff. Can add 2 more from today already. 2-0 to Schwartz. Takes a strike on the corner. Schwartz out of Point Loma University. 2-1 here. Off goes Holly. Johnson also tries to go. That throw is not in time, so Holly gets a stolen base, and Johnson gets back safely to third. As it was both base runners trying to run the gamble, and Holly is able to succeed by getting to second base.
Yeah, interesting play right there. I mean, Holly stealing second and rather easily in a first and third situation, but it's really Ocampo checking on Johnson at third to, keep him on that bag.
So 3-1 to Schwartz as runners on second and third. Schwartz takes the ball upstairs, and that'll be a 4th ball as it is a walk, and brings up Isaac Veal for the first time today with bases loaded.
Yeah, Oaks, nobody out here, bases loaded, a golden opportunity to come through here and do some damage.
And this is exactly the same situation we've seen the Oaks in less than 24 hours ago.
We'll see if this time they can capitalize on it. Today, I should say.
So Veal just with a 1 hit on the season, but 2 runs. Veal takes a strike down the middle. Veal, part of the Westmont team that won their first ever Pac West tournament in school history, as well as their first ever regular season. Quite a few Westmont players that play around and in for the Caneo Oaks in the California Collegiate League. Veal takes ball outside, so it's 1-1 here for Veal. Veal is one of 4 players on this Oaks team, but as we will see, there's plenty of players playing for Westmont that are spread out through this California Collegiate League, especially in the South Division. 1-1. Veal takes the ball upstairs.
Yeah, Westmont College, a school recurringly that I've seen not just, players on the Oaks app, but a lot of players throughout the CCL.
Yeah, the 4 players are Reagan Gale, Zach Moore, Cade Beloin, and then Isaac Veal here, who's at the plate. 2-1. Veal takes a strike. He checked his swing. Counts now even at 2.
Did hit the corner, and this is certainly a good time for Veal to keep battling Fernandez and make him work for his pitches, make him throw more pitches.
Fernandez in his second inning of work. 2 strikeouts in the first inning. Veal just fouls that off to the backstop. Man, like you said, Sammy, just need him to keep fighting.
Something that the Oaks do very well when they do come through and they start to figure pitchers out. And any team will attest to this. As the more pitches you're able to see, the more you learn from the pitcher, and the easier they become to face later on.
2-2 to Veal. Hits that high into left center field. That's going to be Lujan that's going to get under the ball for the out. Here comes Johnson as he tags on his way to home. And that's going to score the first run. So a sacrifice fly there for Veal. And the Oaks have now cut it down to just 1 as the Barons now lead 2-1.
More runs right on that swing for the Oaks than they have scored in now the last 11 innings. Great job by Isaac Veal at the plate. Got a ball that he could handle, hit plenty deep enough to score that run, and out to the mound goes Ken Landreau. And looks like we are going to have a pitching change here.
So Fernandez Day is done here on the mound after giving up just 1 run and has 2 strikeouts on the day. But we will be right back as the Barons lead 2-1 and a pitching change comes on. And it's Jeremiah Enix who replaces Isaac Fernandez. And it's Jackson Menez up for the first time today. And Enix, we saw on Friday when the Barons, last Friday I should say, when the Barons took down the Oaks 4-2. He pitched 3 innings, had 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and the 10 batters that he faced. He has 6 total strikeouts on the season in 2 appearances. So runners on first and second. Menez fouls that off high to the right.
Yeah, and Enix also pitched on June 8th in what was a bombshell 21-7 loss against the Santa Barbara Foresters. for the Barons. He went an inning and 2/3 in that game, allowed a couple of hits, just 1 run. He struck out a couple batters in that game.
0-1 to Jimenez. And that's in there for a strike, as Jimenez quickly down 0-2 here.
This is also the first time we've seen Jax Jimenez bat from the right side this season. First time he's faced a lefty this season.
0-2. Swing and a miss for Jimenez, as that gets Enix his first strikeout and a big one. As it's now just down to 1 out for the Oaks. As Jake Schwartz is on first base, Tyler Harley on second. That brings up Cade Falskin.
And remember, even though Isaac Fernandez is out of this game, each runner that's on base was inherited by him, so those runs would still belong to him if they score.
So Enix trying to help out his companion Fernandez with allowing nothing else. That's high for a ball. Went with the off-speed pitch right there. Cade Falskin, last time he made a start was versus the Saints on Sunday in the Oaks 11-2 win. Went 0 for 3 with 2 runs and 2 walks, as well as a stolen base. Batting .111 on the season. 4 runs and just 1 hit. Falskin fouls it high off to the left. Counts now even at 1. So 2 outs for the Barons, as it was a sacrifice fly from Veal, who brought in the first run of this bottom of the second inning for the Oaks. Brought in Nolan Johnson. 1-1 to Falskin. Takes the ball outside. Oh, 2-1. Before that shutout loss yesterday was the Barons, who actually held the Oaks to their lowest total of 2 runs in that Friday victory last week.
What was their lowest total at the time until yesterday?
Falskin hits that high into right field, as that's Klanovsky going back for it. That ball is going to get down for a hit. It hits off the wall, brings home Holly. Falskin's going for 3, and it's a stand-up base clearing triple that now puts the Oaks ahead 3-2. So a big play right there from Falskin.
What a big hit by Falskin, and that's the second triple we've seen him hit this season, as well as against the Barons. You see him just scorch that ball high in the air to right center field, right in the gap and up against the wall, and Klanovsky got it in as quick as he could, but 2-run score. The Oaks have the lead, and now Isaac Fernandez's line is officially finished, as those 2 runs have now scored, and Oaks have their first lead in 2 days.
So back to the top of the order with Tommy Kendlinger, who walked his first time. Also generated 1 stolen base, but was left stranded after 2 straight strikeouts by Fernandez in the first inning. 1-0 to Kendlinger. Inside for a ball.
Yeah, well, Kendlinger, he ended up being called out actually at second base due to a batter's interference when Mora had just stepped just a hair too close to the plate upon the attempted throw to second base by Ocampo.
Swing and a miss for Kendlinger. Now 2-1. So the Oaks have come with 3 runs of their own after the Barons started the second inning with a home run and a RBI single from Nathaniel Williams that put them up 2-0. But the Oaks now lead 3-2 after swing and a miss for Kendlinger. 2-2.
Zach Mora waiting on deck for another chance.
Kendlinger pops that into center field. Lujan gets under it just in time for the out, and that'll be the 3rd down for the Oaks as we head now to the top of the third inning, but not before the Oaks added 3 of their own. They lead 3-2. And welcome back to George Sparky Anderson Field alongside Sammy Fawn. I'm Judo Kanyas here as we get the third inning underway, and it's been an eventful one so far as the Barons humped out to a 2-0 lead at the top of the second inning, and then the Oaks responded with 3 runs of their own. Now a 3-2 ball game with the Oaks leading here in the third inning, and that brings up Trevor Schmidt here for the second time today. He singled his first time at bat, left stranded after Jason Del Villar grounded into second base. So 1-1 here for Schmidt out of Fullerton College, where he's currently batting this summer. .333, 7 hits and 1 home run. That's in there for a strike. 1-2.
Schmidt with now 1 of 5 home runs for the Barons this season. We saw Klinowski launch one over the wall that got out in a hurry out in right field into the trees.
Schmidt takes the ball high outside. Schmidt committed to play at GCU next season. Missed his redshirt junior season due to an injury. Still with a few injuries in his career. That's outside for ball 3. Counts now full to Schmidt. Played 4 years at Servite High School, where he was a 3-time All-Trinity League selection, as that is ball 4, and Schmidt will take a leadoff walk here in the third inning to get things started for the Barons. And it's Tyler Grant who's up for his third inning of work. Got through the first inning pretty fast, but it was the second inning where he allowed a home run and a hit by pitch as well as an RBI single to get the Barons on the board first.
And Grant is still looking for his first strikeout of the day.
So brings up Jason Del Villar. Grounded out into second base. His first time up. And that's in there for a strike. 0-1. Grant working well with the off-speed pitches thus far.
Del Villar, incoming junior transfer at Sonoma State, coming from San Bernardino Valley College.
Gets a good piece of that as that grounds to third. They try to turn it for 2. They do. So a 6-4-3 double play for the Oaks. And 2 down.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty easy and simple for the Oaks. Sort of a low line drive and a nice easy hop for Zach Moore to handle. Certainly a lot friendlier hop than we saw Brady Hewitt take that took him out of the game, but clean, easy 6-4-3 for the Oaks.
Yeah, I have to say, when we saw the play with Hewitt, as this is now Tommy Gooden up for the Barons for his Second time today, he flew out off to left field. But when we saw that play by Hewitt, it just took a weird bounce at the last second. Swing and a miss for Gooden. Count out even at 1. I mean, I think we all anticipated. It kind of just seemed like your regular ground ball into shortstop, into short, I should say. And at the last second, it just took a weird bounce and hit him square in the face. And so nothing but the best we can hope for Hewitt as he recovers now from a broken nose. 1-2 to Gooden.
Yeah, similar play actually happened to my brother when we were playing in an exhibition softball game. He was at shortstop. He took a hop that hit off his chin. He ended up having to get 2 stitches on his chin later that day.
Yeah, the face is a very fragile part, especially when you have baseballs that are traveling 100 miles per hour on average. Getting one struck to the face is never pleasant at all. 2-2 to Gooden as he chops that foul down the first base line. Stays alive here, 2-2. Gooden, currently a sophomore at Vanderbilt, where he made no appearances in 2025, was ranked as the #1 first baseman in California by the Perfect Game in 2024, and the 4th overall. 2-2. It's outside for a ball as Gooden now works his way into a full count with 2 outs. He won the 2023 Mariucci World Series Home Run Derby. And that'll be ball 4, so Gooden will take a walk, and that'll be a base runner on with 2 outs.
A couple walks in this inning. Barons looking to just jump on anything they can. They're chasing just 1 run behind the Conejo Oaks, and you saw them leading 3-2 for about 3 innings last Friday, following the home run from Nathaniel Williams.
As Lujan fouls that off to the back. 0-1. Lujan, member of the home run club for the Barons this summer, as he has one of his own. Batting .227 on the season with 5 total hits and 3 RBIs, as well as 3 runs. Lujan takes the ball outside. 1-1. So Antonio Lujan from Azusa Pacific University. Lujan chops that to second. Falskin's going to get under it. Goes to first. That's in time. That's going to get the 3rd out, as it's a clean sheet in this 3rd inning as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. The Oaks still head 3-2. And we head into the bottom of the 3rd inning. So we got a good one here at George Sparky Anderson Field, as it's the Oaks leading 3-2 after a 3-run 2nd inning that gave them their first lead of the game, and that's Zach Moore coming up to the plate for his 2nd time today. He struck out his 1st time, also was called for a batter's interference that led to the 2nd out, and Tommy Kendlinger getting called out at 2nd. So he's up here for his second time today. He swings and misses. 0-1. And Jeremiah Enix now beginning his first real inning of action. Came in as a relief halfway through the second inning for Isaac Fernandez. Swing and a miss for Mora.
Mora on the season batting .231 so far. It's been certainly been a good bat at the plate for the Oaks. And what a time in this season this would be to come through for him, you know, as we've mentioned, taking over for Hewitt. And, you know, we'll see if he becomes the regular shortstop now until Hewitt returns.
0-2 to Mora. Takes the ball high. Well, he was responsible for starting the double play at the top of the third inning. It's a 6-4-3 play that got Jason Del Villar and Trevor Schmidt out. 1-2. Mora pops it high off into the back of the George Sparky Stadium here. I should say field. 1-2 to Mora.
Beautiful day for baseball, too.
Certainly is. It's been each week the weather's just been getting more and more beautiful. It's 85 degrees here, Thousand Oaks. It's fouled off to the right. Mora staying alive here with a 1-2 count. Yeah, we've now kind of seen consistent 82 to 85 degree days here at Thousand Oaks. It just makes it a lot nicer up here in the booth and not having to wear a hoodie. 1-2 to Mora. Takes the ball outside, 2-2.
Yeah, I must say it has been feeling just a lot more pleasant. And yeah, to your point, I don't think I've put my hoodie on in over a week. If it's nice up in the booth, it's probably going to be hot outside. If it's warm but not hot outside, it could be breezy in the booth.
Swung on by Moore. That's hit high near the first base. And Schmidt able to get under it in time for the out. So one down for the Barons. So that now brings up Jacob Galloway for the second time today. He struck out his first time at the plate.
It's a tough place to catch a ball right there. You're like right where the runner is heading to, and you know, there's been a couple of interference calls in Major League Baseball last year. I remember it was Andrew Vaughn for the White Sox called out on that shocking interference call, and then the very next day it was Juan Soto for the Yankees when they were playing the Angels in Anaheim. Called out on a similar interference call. It was basically the same play. It was a pop-up and, you know, like an infield fly rule or just a catch made and then the runner technically interfering with the fielder, either catching the ball or just going back. It's a tricky play to get around in baseball, I think.
Certainly is, and Schmidt was able to work his way through that as he got the first out. That's high for a ball. 2-0 to Galloway. Galloway, third on the team with hits right now with 7, as well as third on the team with 6 RBIs. So back behind the dish today after having the day off yesterday. 2-0 to Galloway. It's outside for a ball 3. So 3 straight balls here from Enix. So it was the Oaks and Barons who faced off 3 times last week. The Oaks got the best of the Barons in 2 of those 3 matchups. It's outside for a ball, so 4-pitch walk here for Galloway as it gets a runner on and brings up Nolan Johnson, who was hit by a pitch his first time and then brought in in the sacrifice fly by Isaac Veal.
It's great to see, you know, a guy like Veal who typically bats toward the bottom of the order, able to really drive that ball out there. He covered a lot of ground on that fly ball, and once it hit, you know, you had to know that at least 1 run was going to score.
Yeah, he hit that dead on straight to center field, where that was Antonio Lujan who had to make the play. That's high for a ball. 1-0 to Johnson. And the Oaks in the 3 meetings last week scored a total of 18 runs, while the Barons scored just 12. And in that Friday matchup, that's where we saw Nolan Johnson's brother, Nate Johnson, go down with a left shoulder injury. 1-0 to Johnson. Swung on and miss. 1-1.
Yeah, certainly a key injury that the Oaks have to face, and also just the way it happened when you saw him swing the bat. You know, hard to say if it was something he pulled or was just a stiff muscle, but certainly a tough way to go out, especially mid at bat, and then you have to have another batter come in and take over for you, and he hasn't seen the pitcher as much as you have necessarily.
Yeah, it was a tough situation that Jonah Dawson was put in that 7th inning. 2-1 to Johnson here. Fouls that off to the right. 2-2. Johnson, a current player at the University of Miami. His first season here for the Oaks. All 3 of his brothers are baseball players, following in the footsteps of his father, Kevin Johnson, who was a pro player for the Montreal Expos, the then Montreal Expos, I should say. Played his high school ball. This would be Nolan Johnson at Westlake High School. And say he fouled that one off. 2-2. Just got a good enough piece of that to be able to call it a foul.
Yeah, certainly no shortage of young baseball players in this league who, you know, have you know, former Major League Baseball fathers, whether they played in the minors or made it to the big leagues, but certainly extensive baseball ties in the California Collegiate League.
2-2 to Johnson. Tie for ball 3. It's now full count. Is Galloway on first base. And so the Oaks have already been able to take advantage with runners in scoring position, which was what we didn't see yesterday in their shutout loss versus the Saints. Full count here to Johnson. Takes a ball outside, and that'll be the 2nd straight walk as Galloway goes to second base, and that brings up Tyler Hawley.
Well, kind of a perfect situation for Tyler Hawley here, you know. Tough for Enix to walk 2 batters and then have to face a very good hitter in the name of Tyler Hawley. He can make all kinds of contact at the plate. And the Oaks, you know, with simply a single can do big damage here. Got 2 runners on, 1 at second and 1 at first.
And Hawley currently leads the team in RBIs with 9. He was 1 for 3 yesterday with a single, and as well as he was hit by a pitch, but he started off in his first plate appearance with a walk and then a stolen base, and then was brought home in the 2-run RBI triple by Cade Falskin in the 2nd. There's a check at second. Throw comes in late. Galloway slides back safely.
And if you're Enix, last thing you want to do, you want to be careful with those pickoff throws, but last thing you want to do is throw it into the outfield and allow the runners to move up extra bases.
The first pitch to Hawley. Swung on high. That's going to go back behind the field for a foul ball. Seen quite a few of those already today. So the Barons and the Oaks will meet again this weekend, as it's part of a 2-game mini-series. First game back here at George Sparky Anderson Field on Saturday, and then Oaks hit the road for a matinee on Sunday. That's chopped to third base as Taylor gets not able to get that under control, and that'll be a base hit.
Yeah, well, you see Colin Taylor really try his best to charge that ball coming forward, and when he did, you know, when he made contact with the ball, it hit off the worst possible part of the glove that it could, right on the heel. And as soon as he did that, he just couldn't get a grip on it. And the Oaks now have the bases loaded. That could be a costly mistake for the Barons.
Oaks were able to take advantage of bases loaded in the second inning. See what they do right here is Jake Schwartz up. Takes a ball high. Schwartz walked his first time, was also brought in as part of that Cade Falskin base clearing triple. Now he has an opportunity to do the same here. 1-0. Schwartz drives that to shortstop. Akiyama pitches it to second. The throw is not in time to first, but they get Holly out at second base. But that brings in Jacob Galloway for now the 4th run of the game for the Oaks.
Well, certainly, you know, a key out for the Barons, and a tricky little bloop shot in the infield right there that was hit by Schwartz. You see him kind of bloop that ball, and Barons able to get the force out at second, but potentially had a chance at a double play. It looked like, you know, the second baseman Williams may have taken a millisecond longer than he would have liked to throw it, but Oaks now ahead by 2.
Brings up Isaac Veal, who was responsible for bringing in the first run for the Oaks in the bottom of the second with a sacrifice fly into center field. He now comes up for his second time today. So the Oaks now lead 4-2 as Jacob Galloway was brought home on that RBI single by Jake Schwartz. 1-0 to Veal. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Off goes Schwartz to second. He's going to get a stolen base as Ocampo tries to make the play at third with Johnson. Going to get the pickoff, but Johnson gets back safely.
Well, that's the same play that we saw last inning with Nolan Johnson at third, and this time, you know, Schwartz looking to steal second, which he does. But like I had said, it's an interesting play when you see a pickoff throw to third on the attempt on the steal to second with runners on first and third, and because
and that gets past Ocampo as Johnson's not going to come in for the 5th run of the game for the Oaks. Schwartz will advance to third, and all kinds of trouble here for the Barons in the 3rd inning.
Well, Enix struggling to catch a break later on in this inning, having allowed the run on the fielder's choice and potentially an extra run right there. Now Veal potentially, you know, that's a confidence booster as a batter too.
Outside for ball 4, and Veal will take his walk to first base, bringing up Jax Jimenez, who just has 1 hit on the season in his 2 games that he's played. Or I should say 1 real game that he's played, as now comes a mound visit to Jeremiah Enix from the pitching coach, AJ Monarez. So
it's 1 pitcher warming up in the Barons bullpen, yeah.
And so it's a quick mound visit, just giving confidence to Enix on the mound. It's definitely been a struggle to get through this inning for the Barons, as this past season at Oregon, Jimenez batted .231 in 27 games played, had 3 hits, 11 runs, as well as 3 RBIs. Now with 2 outs, runners at the corners, Jimenez makes his 2nd plate appearance. Off goes Veal to second. That ball is popped high into the infield. That's Akiyama trying to get under it, and he does. So that gets the 3rd out, but not before the Oaks add 2 more to their lead. It's 5-2 Oaks. We head to the 4th inning. Welcome back to George Sparky Anderson Field as we get the 4th inning underway. It is a good contest here as the Oaks lead 5-2. As that is Jacob Klinowski coming up for his 2nd time today. He homered, got things started here at George Sparky Anderson Field with a solo shot over the right field fence. Crushed that for 366 feet. And now he comes up for his 2nd time today, seeking his 2nd hit of the game. As he slaps that foul off to the left.
Yeah, I've certainly seen a lot of deep home runs at Sparky Anderson Field. I think I've probably seen deeper ones out to right field. Seen them reach right in front of the tennis courts.
Yeah, we saw Nolan Johnson hit a ball 427 over that right field fence as that one's chopped to second. Falskin collects, he fires the first, throw is in time for the out. 1 down for the Oaks. Up comes Colin Taylor, who had a double in the 2nd inning. Was the run that was brought in by Nathaniel Williams, who had the RBI single in the 2nd inning. So Taylor and Klinowski responsible for the 2 runs in the 2nd inning and the 2 only runs for the Barons in this game thus far. If you're just joining us, it is 5-2 Oaks here at the top of the 4th inning. The Barons got things started with 2 runs in the 2nd inning. And then it was the Oaks who followed with a 3-run 2nd inning and a 2-run 3rd inning. It's outside for another ball. 1-1. And it was a handful of walks in that 3rd inning. They got the bases loaded for the Oaks, and they were able to capitalize with runners in scoring position. 1-1 to Taylor. Takes the ball in the dirt. 2-1.
We've seen both Gavin Taylor and Colin Taylor start in the lineup. The first time we're seeing Colin Taylor starting and not Gavin Taylor in the lineup.
Yeah, the 2 brothers, as that one is hit hard onto center field. It's going to drop for a base hit. So a 1-out single for Colin Taylor. And that just kind of hit the dead man's land there in center field. As great as Tommy Kendlinger has been in his range, that just would have been, he would have had to have flash type speed to get over to that ball.
Yeah, and Colin Taylor, you know, got enough of that ball to put it into no man's land. Like you said, just put it in a good spot where the fielders weren't.
So it brings up the bottom of the order here, Isaac Ocampo, who chops that foul off to the left. Ocampo behind the dish today for the Barons. Like you said, Sammy, it's been Gavin Taylor, who we've seen primarily behind the dish. It's Isaac Ocampo out of a sophomore at Golden West College. And that's hits the outside corner for a strike, 0-2. As it's now Tyler Gren, who's in his 4th inning of action. Still seeking his first strikeout here. Has an opportunity to do it with 2 strikes and 0 balls, 0-2. That's high for a ball, 1-2. Isaac Ocampo this past season at Golden West College had 14 hits, 7 runs, 13 RBIs, just 2 strikeouts. 1-2. That's fouled off to the left. Driven past the Oaks dugout. There's a little bit of action out in the bullpen for the Oaks. There's Chris Lozano just warming up. But Tyler Gren here on the mound. 1-2. That's fouled off to the left.
Good stay alive swing there by Isaac Ocampo. That ball looked like it was about half a foot inside. But he got a piece of that and continues to make Tyler Gren work.
1-2 here to Ocampo. That's a line drive right into Hawley's glove for the 2nd out. And Taylor stays at first. That was good awareness by Holly to pick off that ball.
Yeah, and give Taylor just a little wake-up call at first base. He faked the throw, but he hauls in out number 2.
So it brings back to the top of the order Nathaniel Williams, who is 2 for 2 on the day with an RBI. That one's hit high into left field. Veal tries to get over to it, and that's going to be fair. And they call it. And they call it foul. And I have to admit, Stanley, I think the umpires completely got that one wrong.
I have to agree. That ball, that didn't even hit the line, it looked like. That looked like it was just inside.
Look, I get we got a better angle up here, but that was, yeah, I mean, there was distance between the left field line and where the ball hit in field.
I have to say, I agree with the third base coach, James Bishop. I think that was a fair ball, but call is the call.
Call is the call. So 0-1 here to Nathaniel Williams. Got a good hit on that, too. I mean, so Colin Taylor stays at first base. And that's in there for strike 2. And you just got to think that after this inning, that home plate umpire is going to get a good talking to by whether it's third base coach or even the head skipper. Daniel Williams crashes that into center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. He's going to go for 2 as Taylor heads home. And the throw is not going to be in time, and it's going to be an RBI double for Nathaniel Williams, his second of the day.
I mean, it all worked out in the end, I guess, for the Barons, but, you know, still a big call down the left field line, but great piece of hitting by Nathaniel Williams. He just scorches that ball right into the gap in right center field. Oaks make a relay, make it somewhat close at the plate, but Barons with with 1 run, they're now chasing 2.
So Nathaniel Williams now 3 for 3 on the day, and as we say in basketball, ball don't lie. And that's in there for a strike, as it's now DJ Akiyama, who is 0 for 2 on the day, seeking his first hit of the season, or I should say game, out of Campbell University. 1-0. Akiyama pops that high foul to the left. It's the ceiling here at George Sparky Anderson Field, and 1-1. I mean, what better way to kind of get a get back and an RBI double there for Williams, who, once again, I got robbed of his first hit, but makes it up. That one's grounded foul off to the right. (0-2) to Akiyama. Slaps that foul off to the left this time. So
right onto Hutton Field.
So the Oaks now lead 5-3 here at the top of the 4th inning. It was a RBI double by Nathaniel Williams, who brought in Colin Taylor for the Barons' 3rd run of the game. Akiyama drives that into right center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Nathaniel Williams is coming home. Akiyama holds at first, and there's no throw. So Williams has returned the favor, and he is brought home by Akiyama for an RBI single. And the Oaks now just with a 1-run lead, 5-4 here in the top of the 4th inning.
Nice piece of hitting by DJ Akiyama. Lines that ball right over the head of Falskin, and Nathaniel Williams' speed, him scoring from second, a pretty easy run right there. Barons only chasing 1 run now, 5-4 Oaks.
So a 2-run 4th inning that has now put the Barons with just within reach of just 1 run of the Oaks. And that also got DJ Akiyama's first hit. It brings up Trevor Schmidt, who was 1 for 1 on the day with a walk and a single. So he hits that high into left field as Veal moves back a tad. It's playable. He gets the 3rd out. So the Barons respond with 2 runs of their own in the 4th inning to make it 5-4. We head to the bottom of the 4th as Cade Falskin, Tommy Kendlinger, and Zach Moore are due up next. And it's Cade Falskin to get things started here in the bottom of the 4th inning, as it's now the second pitching change for the Barons. That is Jake Rice now on the mound, the junior at Golden West College, who's making his 2nd appearance of the season. Just had pitched 1 inning in their 8-1 loss versus the Saints back on June 7th, where he faced 6 batters, allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned. That's in for a strike. 0-1 to Falskin. Falskin had a base clearing triple. 2 RBIs on that hit that gave the Oaks a lead in the 2nd inning. Drove in Tyler Hawley and Jake Schwartz. It's been an eventful one here, Sammy, as the Barons, who were going into this 4th inning trailing by 3, responded with 2 of their own in the top of the 4th inning. That's fouled off behind the field.
Yeah, we've certainly seen these two teams playing a lot of close-knit matchups. Right here, this, it almost looks like a back-and-forth affair. Barons, yeah, to your point, they were down by 3 and chasing just 1 run. No lead is safe against either of these teams, and don't necessarily let the standings fool you.
That's inside for a ball. 2-2 is the count. Well, Nathaniel Williams certainly got his respect to get his 3rd hit of the day, as he had hit a ball to the left side of the field, just close, I should say, to the left field line, but definitely was fair, but it was ruled foul. And that's in for the first strikeout right there by Jake Rice, as it sends Falskin back to the dugout.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you look back, that ball that Williams hit off into right center field, I believe 96 off the bat. I don't know. I'm not sure that the first ball that he hit would have scored Ocampo or Taylor from first.
Yeah, his 2nd hit that went into center field was driven at 96 miles per hour. It's in there for a strike on Tommy Kendlinger, who's now making his 3rd appearance at the plate. 0 for 1 on the day. Walked as the leadoff man to start the game and then popped out to center field. It's outside for a ball. And I'm not disagreeing that the 2nd ball that he hit was better. I'm amazed that the umpires did call that foul, because I think, like I said, from our vantage point, and pretty much anyone in this stand, that was a good foot in fair play.
It certainly was.
That gets past Ocampo. 2-1. It's one of the parts you got to deal with, is at this league you don't have any replay, so it's really all up on the umpires to make the call. 2-1 to Kendlinger. Takes a ball outside. On deck is Zach Moore, and following him will be Jacob Galloway here in the 4th inning. It's outside for ball 4, and Kendlinger will take his walk to first base. His second of the day. Zach Mora 0 for 2 on the day, struck out his first time, and like we said, responsible for that batter's interference.
One thing I think we're seeing the Oaks do today that talked about they weren't doing yesterday, they're taking advantage of their opportunities on bases, especially following up their walks with opportunities that have led to runs.
Yeah, it wasn't like the Oaks just didn't have any opportunities in their shutout loss versus the Saints. They put themselves in position, I would say, to even win that game, but just could not, like you said, capitalize. Second straight check from Rice at first base. So Zach Moore right now with 1 RBI on the season, has 3 hits, batting .231. He smashes that to left field. Now that's going to be Del Villar that gets over there, but just foul off to the left. I don't know, that might have been fair though.
Well, that'd be pretty impressive if it was and then hopped over that wall, I'll say.
It would have been a ground rule double for Mora, but he's back here at the plate, 0-1. And if you're just joining us, I'm obviously only joking. That was clearly a foul ball.
It's just a joke, relax.
Another check from Rice at first base. So 5-4 Oaks lead, bottom of the 4th inning. Kendlinger. Mora whacks that into center field. Luhans moves all the way over to his left and makes the grab. Has to reach out to grab that one. That gets the second out of the inning.
Yeah, almost close to a shoestring catch there. See him dip his glove lower as he gets closer to catching it. Catches it about, maybe perhaps right below his knees, but certainly a key second out here for the Barons. And if they can hold the Oaks at bay and keep them to a one-run lead, that can certainly develop some momentum in the Barons' favor.
Comes up Jacob Galloway, who is 0 for 1 on the day. A walk in the 3rd inning. He was brought home by an RBI single by Jake Schwartz. So here's Galloway, 1-0. And Rice goes back to first base to check on Kendlinger. It's now his 4th time. One-0 to Galloway. Off goes Kendlinger. Throw is not in time. So Kendlinger with now his first official stolen base. He was called out in that 1st inning after the batter's interference by Zach Moore. It would have been his 2nd, but with the batter's interference, you get the base runner called out. So Galloway now looking at a 1-1. Transferred to Texas A&M 2024. Grounds that to second. And Williams gets under, tosses it over to Schmidt, and that gets the 3rd out of the inning. So we head to the top of the 5th as the Oaks lead 5-4. We'll be right back. And we begin the 5th inning with the first pitching change for the Conejo Oaks, as that is Chris Lozano now up on the mound. So Tyler Gren's day is over after 4 innings of work. And it's now Chris Lozano making his 2025 summer debut. He is now returning for his 2nd year with the Conejo Oaks, where he was part of that championship team. Appeared in 9 games last year, but posting a 4.15 ERA. Pitched a total of 13 innings, had 12 hits, allowed 12 hits, 7 runs, total of 13 strikeouts. Now making his 2nd year appearance for the Oaks. He's out of Van Nuys, California, where he currently goes to University of California, Riverside. Swung on right there by Delva Villar.
Yeah, Lozano in his 3rd year with Riverside's program. He did not play in 2024. He transferred to Riverside after 2 years at Glendale Community College. Made 9 relief appearances in 2025.
That's in for a ball. 1-1 here to Del Villar, who is 0 for 2 on the day. Grounded into a double play in that top of the 3rd inning. A 6-4-3. 1-1. Del Villar grounds that as Lozano tries to get his mitt drops, and that ball gets away on the throw from Falskin, as Del Villar is now going to head to second base. And he's going to hold there, as it was kind of a defensive play all out of whack for the Oaks, as it was first Lozano who tried to make the play, and the ball just so fast it ripped his glove off, and then Falskin tried to make the last second throw, but instead it gets over the glove of Jake Schwartz at first base.
Yeah, Lozano should have let that ball go. He shouldn't have been the one who attempted to field it, and you saw him even lose his glove as it deflected right off his glove, and when that happened, the ball lost its momentum, and then it just ended up being a lot tougher of a play for Falskin. You know, that ball was hit up the middle, but, you know, Mora had the potential to field that one as well, and, you know, even if that does get through, that would at least keep Del Villar at first, but instead, the Barons with their leadoff man on second, and they're only chasing 1 run still, so it's anybody's game right now in the middle of the game.
Brings up Tommy Gooden, who right now leads the Barons in batting average entering today's match, with batting .444. As he drives that into right center field, that's going to drop for a hit. Kellinger with the throw going home, and it's just not going to get in time, as that is an RBI single there from Tommy Gooden, his 2nd of the season.
Well, the Barons punished the Oaks for their mistake right there. Gooden wasting little to no time. Scorches that ball into right center field, and you saw Kenlinger make the throw. And, you know, if you're Del Villar, you know, still stay alert, even though, you know, he scored rather easily, but it ended up being rather close. But the Barons have tied the game at 5.
That's in there for a strike. Yeah, so that error was costly by Cade Falskin on his throw to first base, and now that brings up Antonio Lujan, the center fielder, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Has 5 hits on the season. Fouls that into the dirt.
Yeah, the error was on
1-2.
Falskin for the throw, but really it came down to Lozano trying to block that ball.
Yeah, he just tried to grab it, and in fact, it actually pulled off his own glove. So with Gooden at first base, 0-2 to Lujan. That's high for a ball.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 times when the ball's hit either right back up the middle or just beside the pitcher, 9 out of 10 times it's better for the pitcher to let it go and let your defense, you know, cover you.
Yeah, Falskin has been effective at second base. That one's driven right over the Falskin's head into center field for a base hit. So 2 straight hits from the Barons. Now have runners on first and second, as we are tied at 5-5 here in the top of the 5th inning. Once again, another ball right there, almost carbon copy of what we saw from Tommy Gooden. He drove that into center field, hit that one a little bit harder, but runners on first and second with Tommy Gooden in scoring position now for the Barons. Brings up Jacob Klinowski, responsible for the first run of this game with a solo shot home run over the right field fence, then went 366 feet. 1 for 2 on the day, grounded out his second time at the plate. 1-0. Klinowski pops that high into foul territory off to the left. Hawley tries to get under it, and he just misses it as it goes over the foul territory left side fence. Would have had to certainly make an acrobatic catch to try to get that out. 1-1 to Klinowski here.
Yeah, haven't seen that too commonly here, and it's tougher to do it when you have, the type of fence with that. You see the green padding protecting it, but that fence, it can hurt to kind of stick your arm against it.
Yeah, we don't need any more injuries for this Oaks team. That's outside for a ball. 2-1 to Klinowski. Still 0 outs here in the 5th inning as an RBI single by Tommy Gooden brought in the tying run. 5-5 here. Klinowski takes a strike on the outside corner now. 2-2. Here comes the payoff from Lozano. That's swung on into center field by Klinowski, and Kellinger with the diving grab to get this first out of the inning. Just a terrific play as he continues to impress out there in center field.
And for Tommy Kendlinger, that is business as usual. One heck of a play. Saw him coming up shallow in center field, and as a base runner, that's kind of a tough bloop shot to judge. It's tough to tell whether it's going to be caught or not, because if he doesn't catch it, then you could be at risk of getting forced out. But Kendlinger never gave up on that ball, kept charging in, and his momentum took him straight forward and was able to seal in a big first out.
Yeah, who knows if that ball would have got past Kellinger with the speed of Tommy Gooden, could have been another potential run for the Barons. And Tommy Kellinger just continues to impress out in center field. And we did see a hit earlier. I believe it was from Colin Taylor, who kind of hit a similar bloop shot out into that shallow center field, and just the range that Kendlinger had to go right there to get that out was certainly impressive. So 1 down for the Oaks as it keeps runners at first and second base, and this is now Colin Taylor batting for his 3rd time today. He's 3 for 3 on the day, 2 for 2 on the day with 2 runs and a double. 0-2 here to Taylor as it's Lujan and Gooden on the bases. Now it's fouled off to the left. Taylor stays alive here with an 0-2 count. And the Oaks actually entered this game allowing the 4th least amount of runs this season at 43. 0-2 to Taylor. Runners on first and second. Fouls it off to the backstop and continues to fight here at this at-bat. And then Chris Lozano's first appearance of this summer, he's already in some trouble.
Certainly faced a lot of traffic here early on, just 1 out in the inning. He could get out of this with a double play, and that could build momentum for the Oaks, but going to need a pretty well-hit ground ball.
0-2. Ball outside. 1-2 to Taylor. Taylor with 1 run on the season. He actually got his first 2 hits of the season in today's game. He has gotten to base via 3 hit by pitches and 1 walk. 1-2. Swing and a miss for Taylor, and there he goes down swinging. And the first strikeout for Lozano.
Certainly a much-needed second out for Chris Lozano. And 2 big outs, you know, starting with that diving catch by Kendlinger in center. And the strikeout of Colin Taylor.
Now brings up the bottom of the order here, Isaac Ocampo, the catcher, who's batting .200 on the season. Out of Golden West College. Two outs for the Oaks, runners on first and second. That's in there for a strike. 0-1 to Ocampo. And so the Barons were able to tie this game here in the 5th inning with a RBI single by Tommy Gooden that brought in Jason Del Villar, as that one is swung on high to the left side. His field goes back to the wall and isn't able to get there. That bounces off the wall. That brings home Tommy Gooden. He comes home. Here comes Taylor. And if the throw is in time, that's going to get the 3rd out of the inning as we head to the bottom of the 5th. But the Barons had one more, so they now lead 6-5. We'll be right back. And welcome back to George Sparky Anderson Field alongside Sammy Fawn. I'm Jude O'Connor, and we got a good one here on a Wednesday afternoon of California Collegiate League baseball action, as it is 6-5 Barons And it's a pitching change for the Barons as we begin this 5th inning. I brought him the 5th inning. It's Wesley Wells, the right-hand pitcher at State College of Florida, Mantine, Sarasota. Spent his past season at Claremont McKenna. And that's in there for a strike on Nolan Johnson, who's making his now 3rd appearance. Has walked and been hit by a pitch. Has 2 runs on the day. 0-1. Johnson grounds that to second. Williams gets under there, gets the throw to first in time. 1 down for the Barons.
Nice play there by Williams. I want to talk about that last inning-ending play in the top of the 5th, though. Saw that RBI double by Isaac Ocampo. It was a beautiful execution by the Conejo Oaks on the relay throw home. You saw Zach Mora throw a 1-hop strike to home plate, and it was a beautiful pick at home plate on the receiving end by Jacob Galloway. And he had to catch that ball and tag the runner Lujan in about 2 milliseconds, not even perhaps, but a huge play in this game keeps the Barons lead to just 1 run.
It's now Tyler Hawley up for his 3rd appearance, as he's 1 for 1 on the day. Singled in the 3rd inning before being taken out at 2nd. Hawley takes the ball upstairs. 2-0.
Well, a little back and forth action today between the Oaks and the Barons.
It's back-to-back innings now for the Barons, where they've put 2 runs on the board and able to now take their 2nd lead of the game. 6-2 as that one is fouled off to the right. So Wesley Wells in 2024 at Claremont McKenna actually played as an infielder, where he batted .250 in 6 games played, and 2 runs, 1 hit, 2 RBIs. Spent last summer with Ventura County and played his high school ball at Palisades High School, where he earned 1st team all honors at shortstop. That's high for a ball. 2-3.
Yeah, Wesley Wells last year played for the Ventura County Pirates. Struck out 8 batters last summer.
Oh, he hits that high off foul to the right. It's now up to a full count to Hawley. And so it was the Oaks who got the best of the Barons last week, winning 2 of their 3 matchups. But the Barons did hand the Oaks their first loss on the road, their only road game, defeating them 4-2 last Friday night. 3-2 to Hawley. Hits that high off foul to the right again. So the Oaks have definitely come out swinging after being shut out by the Arroyo Seco Saints on Tuesday, losing 8-0. And they have been able to capitalize on their opportunities, but the Barons have also responded with their own offensive power. Full count to Hawley. Chops that foul off to the left.
Nice play at 3rd by David Solis.
Remains a full count to Hawley. 1 out for the Barons, no base runners for the Oaks. And that's inside for a ball, so Hawley will take a walk to first base, as that's now his 2nd walk of the day. Bringing up Jake Schwartz. Had the RBI single in the 3rd inning that brought home Galloway. So Schwartz, 1 for 1 on the day, as well as had a stolen base. Check at first. Holly slides back safely. So 1 down for the Barons. Runner on first for the Oaks. It's Jake Schwartz looking on the first pitch. Drives that into left center field. Going to get over the shortstop Akiyama's head, and that's going to be good for a base hit.
Nice piece of hitting by Jake Schwartz. Will move Holly to second, and Holly took a pretty good turn. He had a lot of momentum heading around second there, but he principally would have been out if he had tried to go to third there. So good job of hitting by Schwartz. He put that ball right into the gap in left center field, and I'm thinking if there was a runner on second, he would have scored from second, but certainly a good situation for the Oaks to do more damage here. They are a hit away from potentially tying the game or even taking the lead.
Yeah, the Barons outfield able to get to that quickly enough not to allow Holly to get to third. Now a check by Wesley at second base. So it's Isaac Veal who comes up to the plate. He is 0 for 1 on the day, but had a sacrifice fly that brought in Nolan Johnson for the Oaks' first run back in the second inning. And eventually led to a 3-run second inning. As Veal takes a ball upstairs for ball 1, 1-0. And yeah, like you talked about, Sammy, at the beginning of the bottom of the fifth, Veal with a incredible throw all the way from left field to get it home in time to just allow the Barons to get 1 run off a RBI double from Isaac Ocampo.
Perfect relay by the Conejo Oaks. Veal with a perfect throw to Zach Mora. And Mora, you know, with Lujan coming around third, where he was in relation to the ball, you knew it was going to be a close play. And that, you know, that throw was a one-hop throw and a great pick at home by Galloway. And he's really the one that had to be perfect in the end to catch it and then quickly tag him.
Veal grounds that to third as Taylor's throw is outside. And so Williams had to take his foot off the bag, and that's going to be an RBI. Sorry, just a single. But now the bases are full of Oaks, and this brings up Jack Jimenez, who is still looking for his first hit of the day as he's 0 for 2.
He's got an opportunity to tie the game with a simple deep fly ball or a well enough placed ground ball or, of course, a hit.
So it's Isaac Veal on first base, Jake Schwartz on second, and Tyler Hawley on third with Jack Jimenez at the plate. 1 out for the Barons. That ball is inside.
And we've now seen Jimenez bat from both sides at the plate. Switch hitting outfielder.
Now batting on his left side. 1-0 to Jimenez. Jimenez gets a good piece of that. Rips that to right field. That's going to drop for a base hit. Hawley comes home. Here comes Schwartz for the second run. And then 2-run RBI double right there from Jimenez to get his first hit of the day. And the Oaks are back with the 7-6 lead.
The Oaks and Jimenez needed that one badly. A great piece of hitting by Jimenez as he rips that ball to right field, and gutsy base running him to commit to going to second. And Klinowski had to run a long way to cut that ball off, but 2-run score for the Oaks. They now lead 7-6, and this is a back and forth affair. And Jimenez with his second hit of the summer.
Second hit of the summer and his first RBI of the summer. In a big way as the Oaks now regain their lead 7-6 here at the bottom of the fifth inning. And it's the bottom of the order, Cade Falskin, who had the 2-run RBI triple in the bottom of the second inning that gave the Oaks their first lead at 3-2, an opportunity to add insurance to their 7-6 lead now.
The infield is up for the Barons.
Falskin takes a ball 1-1. And we got a good one here at George Sparky Anderson Field on a Wednesday night. 1-1 to Falskin. Pops that high foul off to the left. And it's Tommy Kendlinger who looks on from the deck. 1-2 to Falskin. 1 out for the Barons here at the bottom of the 5th inning. Falskin just takes a ball on the inside. Counts now even at 2. As Wesley Wells working in his first inning of work here. Just appeared in one game before in their 21-7 loss to the Forcers, June 8th. Falskin grounds that to Akiyama. He gets under the ball. The throw is not in time as Veal slides in safely. And an RBI single from Falskin gives the Oaks a 2-run lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Boy, Veal is a speedster coming home from third, and like I said, the infield was playing up, and you see Akiyama charge that ball quickly. He did everything right, did everything he could. A quick throw, but the throw to the plate did slightly pull Ocampo in his glove a little bit to the right, to the first base side, and Ocampo had to swipe back in order to tag Veal, and Veal just barely got his hand in there. In a gutsy slide there, he kind of had to run into the bat as well, which is dangerous, but another run for the Oaks. They now lead by 2.
So Jimenez stayed at second. Falskin now on first, and it's Tommy Kendlinger out for his 4th time today. He is 0 for 1 on the day with 2 walks and a stolen base. Yeah, Veal just showing off his speed that he's been showcasing all summer long for the Oaks. Kendlinger takes a strike. 0-1. Still just 1 out for the Barons as the Oaks now lead 8-6. That's hit high into center field. Lujan attempts to get under it. There's actually Klinowski who's going to get the out. Coming over from right field. Unable to control that ball at the end, and down goes Kendlinger for the 2nd out of the inning. It's now Ethan Gonzalez who's pitch hitting for Zach Mora. So runners stay in their place. 2 outs for the Barons. We saw Gonzalez in yesterday's loss. He was 1 for 2 on the day with a walk, as well as he advanced on an error, hitting 167 on the season. Just 1 RBI. 0-1 to Gonzalez here. Check at second base by Wells. Oh, 1 here to Gonzalez. Falskin on first, and it's Jimenez on second. So Zach Mora went 0 for 3 on the day in his 3 plate appearances. 0-2 to Gonzalez. Takes a strike looking, and that'll be the first strikeout for Wesley Wells as he gets out of the inning, but not before the Oaks add 3 more in the bottom of the 5th to get them their 2nd lead of the game, 8-6. We'll be right back. We head to the top of the 6th inning as the Oaks now make their second pitching change of the day. So Chris Lozano's day is over, and it's now Nate Hernandez in his place. Just made 1 appearance so far this season, pitched 2 innings in the Oaks victory, 4-2 victory versus the Philippines baseball group. Had 1 strikeout, 2 walks in the 9 batters he faced. That's outside for ball 1.
Nate Hernandez, coming from Pacifica High School, he threw the school's first no-hitter in 2022.
It's outside for another ball, 2-0.
And that same year, he was Pacifica's strikeout record holder, 2021 League Player of the Year.
Swing and a miss for Nathaniel Williams, who's been red hot today he's 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs, a double, and 2 singles. Second on the team in batting average. Swing and a miss for Williams. Counts now even at 2. He's second on the team with batting average, batting .387. It's 5 runs, and as well as tied for first with 7 hits. Williams grounds that to Falskin. Falskin makes the dive, but not able to get there, and that's a 4th hit for Williams, who continues his hot streak today, and he gives a good little smile as that ball gets past Falskin.
A great piece of hitting and a great effort at second base by Cade Falskin, but just came up a wee bit short. And Williams is at first for Akiyama.
Akiyama is 1 for 3 on the day. Singled his last time at the plate in the 4th inning. Began the game 0-2. Akiyama goes for the bunt. He does keep it fair, and that'll be a base hit as Williams almost got caught as he ran just too far off the second base, but he stays alive. And so a perfectly placed bunt right there by Akiyama for back-to-back singles to start the inning.
Yeah, well, that was a beautiful bunt, a gorgeous, gorgeous bunt by Akiyama right down the third base line, and Holly picked it right up, and good alert play by Holly to check on Williams at second as he almost got caught. Perhaps if that throw were more on line.
Yeah, he kind of tried to turn for third, and he, in fact, slipped and had to get back fast to second base. He did, but definitely a risk. This is outside on the first pitch for Trevor Schmidt, who is 1 for 3 on the day. Began the day with a single, but has since gone 0 for 2 with, I should say 1 for 2. He walked in the 3rd inning, popped out to left field in the 4th. Runners on 1st and 2nd. Ball is upstairs for the 2-0. So back-to-back singles to start this inning for the Barons as they are trying to get themselves the lead back as they now trail 8-6 at the top of the 6th inning. Schmidt fouls that off to the left. That counts now 2-1.
Nate Hernandez just made 1 appearance. He was the winning pitcher in the 4-2 win over the Philippines baseball group back on June 6th.
For Schmidt, we saw him during batting practice. He had a few long balls himself. 2-1 to Schmidt. Runners on 1st and 2nd. Swing and a miss. Counts now even at 2. And it is Jason Del Villar who's on deck for the Barons. Still no outs for the Oaks here in the 6th inning. Schmidt takes the ball in the dirt. Williams has to fast. Quickly retreat back to second base. He's definitely testing the waters here at second base with his base running.
Yeah, certainly. Galloway gave him a good little look down there, but Certainly keeping an eye on the runners. Both got great speed on the bases for the Barons.
Williams is 1 for 1 when it comes to stolen bases this season. Swing and a miss for Schmidt as he goes down and strikes. And that is the first strikeout for Hernandez today.
Yeah, huge strikeout for Nate Hernandez right there. With 1 out now, you can get out of this inning with a double play. Barons do have runners, the tying runs on base, and with Jason Del Villar at the plate.
And Jason Del Villar is 0 for 2 on the day. Advanced in the 5th inning off a error from Cade Falskin with a ball that just got over Jake Schwartzhead. That swung on high into left field as Gonzalez calls for it and gets the 3rd out. A second. I apologize.
Infield fly rule was in play with runners at 1st and 2nd and less than 2 outs. And the ball shallow enough on the infield.
So runners stay where they are, and back-to-back batters retired by Hernandez. It's now Tommy Gooden coming up, the designated hitter for the Barons. Takes a ball upstairs. Gooden 1 for 2 on the day. Had the RBI single that brought in Jason Del Villar in the 5th inning, as well as a walk. 1-0 to Gooden. Runners on 1st and 2nd. And hits that high off. Foul ball to the left. Counts now 1-1. Two down for the Oaks. It's Tommy Gooden now at 1-1. Gooden chops that foul off to the right as it's off the fence, protecting all the Baron players from the field of play. 1-2 now to Gooden. An opportunity for Hernandez to get out of this inning unscathed. Here comes the payoff. That's grounded to Schwartz, who's able to make the backhand grab and tags onto the base. And that gets the 3rd out as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning as the Oaks hold their 8-6 lead. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back here into George Sparky Anderson Field as we get the bottom of the 6th inning underway, and it is now Jacob Ramirez who takes the mound as the 4th relief pitcher for the Barons today. He is coming in for his 4th appearance. He is 1-0 on the season with a 3.85 ERA, has 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, and allowed 5 hits. Actually faced the Oaks and on Tuesday as that ball is grounded by Galloway, and that ball is just going to bounce off of Williams' glove, and a leadoff single for Galloway to get things started.
Yeah, tough hop right there for Nathaniel Williams. You see that ball kind of skip right up at the last second. Looked like it sort of hit off the tip of his glove and just skipped away from him, and it's the 2nd error committed by the Barons today.
So a leadoff hit for Galloway as that brings way to Nolan Johnson. Takes a ball outside. So we have seen Jacob Ramirez face off against the Oaks back here in George Sparky Anderson Field last Tuesday, where he went 1 inning, allowed 1 walk, and the 4 batters that he faced. As he checks at first base as Galloway slides back safely, 1-0 to Johnson. Jacob Ramirez currently a senior at Shorter University. Swing and a miss for Johnson. 1-1 is the count now.
Ramirez was most recently seen on June 15th, this past Sunday, at the OC Riptide in what was a 6-5 loss for the Barons.
1-1 to Johnson. Takes a strike on the outside corner.
Speaking of them, the Oaks will be hosted by the Riptide at Great Park this coming Friday for a 7 p.m. game.
Yeah, it's the latest start so far for the Oaks. Is their 2nd road game. 1-2 as Ramirez goes back to check on first. So Johnson looking at a 1-2 count. Galloway on first base. As it's Johnson rips that into right field as Klinowski's not able to make the grab as Johnson goes for 2. Here comes Galloway to third. He's going to hold at third. And Johnson gets now his first hit of the day on a double.
Well, nice piece of hitting there by Nolan Johnson, who went the other way on the pitch that was on the up and outer part of the plate, so he kind of had to reach for that and raise his bat. And, you know, Klinowski on the run, I think that ball caught a piece of the tip of his glove, but just wasn't able to make the catch. And now the Oaks have the tying runs in scoring position.
So an opportunity for the Oaks to add more insurance, and Klinowski just tried to make an over-the-shoulder type of catch that did not go with him. So it's Tyler Hawley now up to the plate. 1 for 1 of the day, chops that foul.
The infield is up for the Barons, looking to prevent any further damage.
Hawley with 2 walks and a single coming in the 3rd inning. 0-1 to Hawley here. It's been a beautiful afternoon coming into an evening of baseball on a Wednesday night, and it's a good one here at George Sparky Anderson Field. Hawley takes the ball upstairs.
And you can see on your screen, too, it's always great to look out beyond the outfield at George Sparky Anderson to see all the trees, and especially when it's a blue sky, you can see all the mountains and even houses in the distance.
1-1 to Hawley. Takes a slider upstairs for another ball. 2-1. So it's been a back and forth affair as the Barons started with 2 runs in the 2nd inning, and the Oaks responded with 3 of their own at the bottom of the inning and then added 2 more in the bottom of the 3rd. Hawley takes the ball downstairs. 3-1. But then the Barons exploded with back-to-back innings in the 4th and the 5th with 2 runs of their own. And then most recently, the Oaks were able to add 3 runs off a 2-run RBI double from Jax Gimenez, as that is hit high, foul off to the right, and it'll go over the outside fence, and that will actually just dink a car as it's driving by in the parking lot of the Kowloon facilities. So 3-1 is the count to Holly.
It's 3-2, right?
Apologize. It's 3-2 now with a foul. Here comes the payoff from Ramirez. Swing and a miss for Holly. He goes down swinging, as that is the first strikeout for Ramirez in this inning and provides the first out for the Barons.
It's a big out for the Barons, and to face a tough hitter like Holly.
Now brings up Jake Schwartz, who is 2 for 3 on the day with an RBI, a walk, and a stolen base. So it's Nolan Johnson on second, Galloway on third, as Schwartz looks at a strike. Ramirez, before his season at Shorter University, spent 3 years at Compton College, which is also the home of the MLB Academy Barons, or I should just say the MLB Youth Academy as a whole down there in Compton, as the Oaks will be back there on a matinee on Sunday, where the game starts at 1:05 versus the Academy Barons to wrap up week 3. Swing and a miss from Schwartz, 1-2. It has been an Oaks and Barons affair over these last 2 weeks. 3 matchups last week and another 3 this week, as the Barons and the Oaks will face off 2 more times. It'll be the Oaks and Barons back here on Saturday, as Schwartz grounds that past Akiyama for a base hit. That's going to bring home Galloway. Johnson holds at 2, and Galloway and Schwartz with risky base running to get the RBI double.
Great heads-up base running by Schwartz. Following a great piece of hitting, you saw Akiyama dive for that ball. It just went under his glove, and you know, Nolan Johnson rounded the bag just enough to bait Lujan into throwing the ball all the way home. And on that throw home, Schwartz saw that immediately and took off for second, and that was an easy base for him. So again, it's second and third with 1 out, and now it's a 3-run Oaks lead.
So Johnson now at third, and it's Isaac Veal back at the plate. So he fouls that off to the right. Veal is now 1 for 2 on the day. Singled his last time at the plate and then was brought in by Cade Falskin. He had the great dive at home to be able to get there safely. Veal just gets a piece of that to foul off to the right. So it's 0-2 to Veal. It's 1 down in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's Jake Schwartz on second and Nolan Johnson on third. Here comes the pitch. Veal checks that foul. Stays alive here, 0-2. So the Oaks added 1 run here to now widen their lead by 3, 9-6. It's outside for a ball, 1-2. Here comes the payoff now from Ramirez. Veal rips that down the middle. That's gonna be a diving grab by Lujan to get the out. Now the throw to second is in time to get out Schwartz. So a double play there for the Barons as they get out of that inning. And a great attempt out and a great play by Lujan out in center field to get Veal out. But we head to the top of the 7th as the Oaks lead 9-6. And we bring you into the 7th inning as we are 2/3 the way through this game here at George Sparky Anderson Field, as it's a good one lining up as the Oaks lead 9-6. And it is now the 4th pitcher on the mound for the Oaks today as Reagan Gale up here on the mound. Lujan pops that high into center field. Kendlinger's going to get under it for the first out. 1 pitch, 1 out to begin this 7th inning. And Reagan Gill out of Westmont College, originally from Houston, Texas, has made 2 appearances thus far this season. Most recently in the 4-2 loss versus the Barons last Friday, where he just pitched 1 inning, had 2 strikeouts and the 3 batters that he faced. And then he also made an appearance 2 Sundays ago in the win against the San Diego Bombers, where he also had 2 strikeouts and 1 inning pitched. 1-0. And that's in for a strike. This is now Jacob Klinowski comes to the plate. So it's now down to just 3 innings for the Barons to try to get back in this ball game. Klinowski looks at a ball, 1-1, 2-1. Klinowski homered to get scoring started in the 2nd inning. Has 0 for 2 since. Swung on high, foul ball to the left. Counts now even at 2. And so the Oaks are able to add one more to their lead in the bottom of the 6th inning off a RBI double from Jake Schwartz, as that just gets the outside for a ball. Count now at 3-2. Here comes the payoff from Gale. That's high for a ball, and that'll be a 4th ball as Klinowski will take a walk to first base, and that brings up Colin Taylor. Colin Taylor is now 2 for 3 on the day. He is 2 singles and a strikeout.
Certainly been a key bat for the Barons today. And see the leadoff walk from Klinowski. See if Taylor can follow the Barons, chasing 3 runs, not 4 or more, thanks to that one heck of a diving catch in center by Lujan.
Taylor takes a ball upstairs, 1-0. And it's been a back and forth affair after a quiet night from the Oaks yesterday. 1-0 to Taylor. Takes a strike on the outside corner. Counts now even at 1. So the Oaks will have the day off tomorrow, and then, yeah, they will hit the road for one of 2 road games this weekend, starting at the Orange County Riptide. That's high for a ball. Counts now 2-1. I will definitely be needing to bring a hoodie for that one. It is going to be a late start, and it'll already be dark by the time we begin that one. 2-1 here to Taylor. Swing and a miss. Counts now even at 2. And so it's Klinowski on first base, as Taylor looks on at a even count at 2. Off goes Klinowski to second. The throw is not in time, as he just slides right before the throw from Klinowski, and that's going to get the 3rd out of the inning. I do apologize. It's actually an out, not a safe.
He called him safe and then out.
So we head for a 7th stretch.
Oh, it's actually a batter's interference. So that is the 2nd time we have seen a batter's interference today.
So, yeah, a batter's interference that was on Colin Taylor, but we head now for the 7th inning stretch, and we'll be right back after this break as the Oaks now still lead 9-6. Up comes Jack Jimenez for now the 4th time today. Had a big 2-run RBI triple in the 5th inning. That led to 3 runs being scored. And so a pitching change here for the Barons at the bottom of the 7th, as it's now Jason Thomas for his first time this summer for the MLB Academy Barons, a junior at Hope International University.
Transferring from Cypress College. Played 2 years there.
And first strike on Jimenez, 0-1.
Jimenez had a key 2 RBI double his last time up. Gave the Oaks the lead, which they still have.
0-1 to Jimenez. It's outside for a ball, 1-1. So Jason Wells in his season at Cypress in 2025 posted a 2.17 ERA, 3-1 record in 22 appearances, allowed 29 hits, 1-1. So the Oaks have been able to keep clean sheets on the past 2 innings of the Barons offense, as it's 9-6 here, bottom of the 7th. That's outside for another ball. 3-1 to Jimenez. Jimenez making now his 2nd straight start, also just his 2nd game active for the Oaks out of University of Oregon. 3-1. And that is inside for a ball. So Jimenez will take the walk to first. And that now brings up Cade Falskin. And I apologize, it's now Henry Borjas pinch hitting for the 2nd baseman Falskin.
Henry Borjas, younger brother of recent Calu football graduate Johnny Borjas, a wide receiver for the Kingsmen, played for all 4 years.
Borjas fills in at the 9 hole. We saw him on Sunday versus the Saints. Goes for the bunt. Outside for a ball. 1-0. Borjas was 0 for 4 on the day with a strikeout and a walk in the 11-2 victory versus the Saints. Goes for another bunt as he tries to charge towards it, but it's going to get past Ocampo, allowing Jimenez to advance to 2nd base on a stolen base.
We'll see that pass ball right there, and Jimenez took 2nd as that ball skewed too far away from Ocampo. Oaks already have a 3-run lead.
So 2-0 to Borjas, runner on 2nd. Check at 2nd. No throw, but still 2-0. So Falskin's day is over. Had a pretty eventful day. It was 2 for 3 on the day with 3 RBIs and a strikeout. 2-0 to Borjas here. That's outside for another ball. So now that's what I count as the 3rd bunt attempt there from Borjas. Still 0 outs in this 7th inning. .3-0 to Borjas here. It's outside for a ball. So 4-pitch walk as Borjas will take his stroll to first base, and with 0 outs, that brings up Tommy Kendlinger for now his 5th appearance today, and it starts this inning with 2 straight walks. Kendlinger is 0 for 2 on the day with a pair of walks and a pair of pop-outs. Pop out to the outfield as it's a base visit for Wells.
Yeah, A.J. Monares Going out there to talk to Thomas.
I think it's going to be over.
Sort of bring him back.
It's already going to be 7:15.
So 0 outs here at the bottom of the 7th inning. Borjas on first. Jimenez on second. Kenlinger takes a ball inside. 1-0. That's inside for another ball. 2-0. That was actually in for a strike, I apologize. 1-1. As Jason Wells walked the first 2 batters he's faced today. So now Tommy Kenlinger. 1-1. Goes for the bunt. That's going to hold fair as the throw is not time. It goes past Schmidt at first base. That brings home Jimenez. Here comes Borjas. The throw is not in time as a diving slide by Borjas gets the 11th run, and the Oaks take a 5-run lead here in the bottom of the 7th, and it's broken open on a error at third base from Colin Taylor.
Well, that was a gorgeous bunt by Tommy Kenlinger, and you knew immediately it was going to be a tough play for Colin Taylor, and he just airmailed that. And as soon as he threw that ball, you could hear the satisfaction in the Oaks dugout. I mean, they were just in awe of seeing that throw go awry, and then 2-run score, and Borjas just dove right in there. The throw technically beat him, but Ocampo could not get down in time to tag him.
And now that's a pass ball past Ocampo, and that's going to bring home Kenlinger for now the 12th run of the game, and they have doubled the Barons score here in the 7th inning as things are now getting out of hand for the Barons.
Well, through a series of unfortunate events for the Barons, essentially a bunt home run for Kenlinger, the way things worked out.
So Ethan Gonzalez now here in the 2-hole.
I don't know, but she's like some like Mexican rice.
And that is in for a strike. 1-0 to 1-1.
She has any like warmers. Oh, maybe it is. That's what the woman is. But that's all I know. Mexican rice.
So 1-1 here to Gonzalez.
I forgot you were up here.
Checks his swing, and they're going to call it a ball on the bottom corner, the strike zone.
Yeah, I don't know. Have fun. Why, you want something to eat?
No. Not till after.
You don't want a bag of Doritos or something?
So 2-1 here to Gonzalez as the bases have now been cleared. Gonzalez chops that to third. Taylor collects. He fires over to first, and that one is in time. And that gets the first out of the inning.
A much needed and certainly overdue first out for the Barons. In this game, we have been playing where we've hit the 2-hour and 45-minute mark.
Yeah, last game ended pretty much at the 3-hour mark. Or 2.5 hours, I should say. So it's Jacob Galloway now coming out. And that is inside as Galloway has to duck away to not get hit by that pitch. And Galloway on the day is 1 for 3 with 2 runs, a walk, and a strikeout. 1-0 to Galloway here. Galloway takes a strike on the inside corner. 1-1. There's an off-speed pitch right there from Wells, who's already allowed 3 runs in the 7th inning. Galloway crushes that to right field as Klinowski tries to get over to it, but it's just fouled off to the right. That was a good piece of hitting right there by Galloway.
Yeah, great swing right there. He got a great piece of that. Pulled it down the right field line. It landed foul, and in fair territory, if it lands like that and goes over, of course, that would be a ground rule double.
So now Galloway looking at a 1-2 count. Just one down for the Barons here in the 7th inning. And if you're just joining us, it has been an eventful one here at George Sparky Anderson Field as the Oaks have broken this game open in the 7th inning with 3 runs that were almost just self-inflicted wounds by the Barons themselves. It's now 12-6 Oaks here in the bottom of the 7th. Galloway count even at 2-2. Looks at a ball in the dirt. 3-2 even, full count.
Well, Thomas just looking to pick up the pieces and get out of this inning and just do what he can. There is action in the Barons bullpen.
Yeah, the Barons have now used 6 pitchers today. Galloway looks at a strike 3. And that'll be the first strikeout for Wells as it's now 2 down for the Barons.
Certainly much needed second out for the Barons, still in the bottom of the 7th inning. Now 2 outs, and Thomas looking to get this final out and send this game to the 8th.
So it brings up Nate Johnson, who was 1 for 2 on the day, had to double his last time at the plate, as well with 2 runs. Johnson looks at a strike, 0-1.
Nolan Johnson, he's had a pretty good day at the plate. He hit a double his last time up.
Outside for a ball, 1-1. And this is the 4th meeting between these two teams this year. 1-1. It's inside for another ball. I think for Wells, he is making now just his first appearance for the Barons this season, so he's clearly just trying to find a rhythm on the mound. Two one to Johnson. Johnson takes a ball and the count's now up to 3-1. And Tyler Hawley on deck. Ball upstairs, and that is going to be enough for a walk as Johnson will stroll over to first base for his now 2nd walk of the day, bringing up Tyler Hawley. Tyler Hawley today, 1 for 2 on the day with 2 walks and a strikeout. Hawley has been one of the hotter players for the Oaks. Sammy and I voted him as the player of the week for the Conejo Oaks in week 2. Hits that high into left field as Del Villar is going to back up. It's playable, and he's going to get the 3rd out. So we head to the top of the 8th as the Oaks have broken this game open with 3 runs in the 7th, now making it a 12-6 game here at George Sparky Anderson Field. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Up comes Isaac Ocampo, the Barons catcher here for his 4th plate appearance today, as the Barons now going to have to work themselves out of the hole as they face a 12-6 deficit here. And a strike called on the first pitch, and it's Reagan Gill to begin his 2nd inning of action. Retired 3 straight batters. It's inside for a ball. Count now at 1-1.
Certainly been an extensive game here at George Sparky Anderson Field. We're almost approaching the 3-hour mark.
Yeah, it's about 7:23 right now. As that ball is hit high on, as Schwartz comes into the foul area. Jacob Galloway going to call for it and grabs it, or just drops it out of his glove. Seemed like he did have it in his control, but drops out. So count now at 1-2 for Ocampo.
Candidly, I think Schwartz had a better shot at that ball with where he was coming from, because you see like Galloway, he had to extend his glove straight out and, you know, have like the open side with the palm of his hand facing down. I don't know, but Schwartz, I think he had a better angle on that.
That's outside for a ball. Yeah, one of the few times we have seen limited communication between the defensive players for the Oaks. They've been very good this year at making sure to call out the pop flies that they want to go grab. 2-2 here to Ocampo. That's high outside for another ball. It's now full at 3-2 for Ocampo. Ocampo is 1 for 2 on the day. He had a RBI double in the 2nd inning. That's hit high into left field as Hawley calls for it and gets the first out of this inning. So that brings us back to the top of the order as Nathaniel Williams, who has been as hot as you can get in a baseball game. He is 4 for 4 today with 3 RBIs. As well as a double. Williams cracks at that. It's going to go off foul.
Yeah, Williams, he's certainly been the most alive bat in the Barons lineup today. As the Barons, they scored 6 runs. The last time they scored was in the 5th inning.
Yeah, Nathaniel Williams, a current rising freshman at Santa Ana College. 0-1. Williams slaps that foul off to the left. Count out 0-2. Nathaniel Williams is coming off back-to-back games where he has hit a home run. Hit one against the Oaks last Friday, and then on Sunday versus Santa Barbara Foresters. It's outside for a ball. 1-2 to Williams. And so after being shut out yesterday, the Oaks have responded in a huge way with 12 runs. 1-2 to Williams. That's in the dirt, as it's now 2-2 for Williams.
Williams talked about him hitting that home run at Compton that he hit against the Oaks. Certainly been a very strong bat for the Barons this season.
So 2-2 to Williams here. The payoff from Gale. Swing and a miss as Gale gets him down low with a fastball. And that's 2 down for the Oaks, and the first time Williams has had a quick at bat. So with 2 down, it now brings up DJ Akiyama, who is 2 for 4 on the day with 2 singles. Akiyama just pops that straight into Gonzalez's glove for the 3rd out, and we head to the bottom of the 8th as The Oaks still hold a 12-6 lead. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And it's Drake Schwartz for the Oaks to get things started at the bottom of the 8th. And if this lead holds for the Oaks, this would be their last time at bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning as they lead 12 to 9. And Schwartz today is 3 for 3 on the day with 2 RBIs, a double, pair of singles, and a walk. He's been doing it all on the offense. So he takes a strike in the low part of the strike zone, and it's a pitching change. Now the 7th pitcher for the Barons today, as it's now Bruno Benuelos making his 2nd appearance versus the Oaks as he gets that one in for a strike.
His 4th appearance this season. He has struck out just 2 batters so far, has not allowed a run yet, has allowed 2 hits on the season so far.
Takes a ball outside for 2-1. One, 2 here to Schwartz. He looks for his 4th hit of the day. High for another ball. 2-2. And it's Isaac Veal. Looks on from the deck. Schwartz hits that, drives that into left field as that's going to drop for a hit. He's going to round the bases for 2, and he's going to get there in a stand-up double. So a leadoff double to begin the 8th inning as Schwartz continues a hot day of 4 hits today, as that brings up Isaac Veal.
Yeah, great piece of hitting by Jake Schwartz. He just split the gap right there on Lujan. And, both Lujan and Del Villar, I think, had trouble coordinating who was going to pick it up, and they ended up skipping the ball around. But leadoff double for Schwartz puts him in scoring position, and the Oaks have a chance to get some more insurance.
So brings up Isaac Veal now. As Benuela steps off and checks at second. Veal 1 for 3 on the day. Takes the ball outside. And this is the exact response you just wanted to see, Sammy, when it came to a tough loss yesterday. They've now put up 12 runs. They've now put up a season high in runs. One out of Veal. Takes the ball upstairs. It's just kind of funny how baseball works. The Oaks have scored 11 runs on Sunday. We're held to 0 on Tuesday and are back here with a 12-run game. As we are now officially past the 3-hour mark here on a Wednesday night. 2-0 to Veal. That ball's in the dirt for ball 3, so Veal now up ahead in the count. Here comes the 3-0 to Veal. That's in there for a strike. 3-1. And so the Oaks, like we mentioned, will be back in action after a rest day on Thursday. On Friday, a 7 p.m. start. Their second road game of the season versus the Orange County Riptide, who, to be fair, Sammy, have really turned around their season. They started off 0-3 in league play and are now sitting at 4th in the South Division at 5-4. 3-1. Veal takes the ball low, and that's the first walk of this inning. And now the second walk for Veal today.
Yeah, a road match against the Orange County Riptide is certainly nothing for the Oaks to take lightly. You know, they've got to be ready to play the strongest baseball they can. The Riptide, they've been stepping up. Like, yeah, they started off a little sluggish, but they've been emerging as the summer has progressed.
It's now Jack Jimenez up at the plate. 1 for 3 on the day with an RBI double. That's swung on. And he hit that one with lots of power, but that one's fouled off to the right. That just had a great crack off the bat. If that was anywhere fair, I imagine that would have been over the fence.
Certainly the furthest ball we've seen him hit overall.
Had good pop to it right there. 0-1 to Jimenez as there's Veal on first and Schwartz on second. Takes the ball outside. Looking at the standings, the Santa Barbara Foresters are sitting at 6-1. The Saints sitting at 5-3. The Oaks at 6-3. Orange County Riptide 5-4. The San Diego Wave 1-1. San Diego Bombers 2-4. The Barons here 2-6, and the Philippines Baseball Group 1-5. That is your South Division standings as of Wednesday. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 for Jimenez.
Benuelos in a tough spot. Oaks just a chance to add more insurance and keep pounding on the Barons.
That's hit well on high into left field, and that's Del Villar who's going to have to get back and get it. He doesn't. The ball's going to drop, so Schwartz advances to third, slides in safely, and so a single for Jimenez to now make it bases loaded here for the Oaks in the 8th inning as they look to add more. And a live update in the bottom of the 8th inning, the Santa Barbara Foresters are ahead on the Orange County Riptide 8-3. As that is a home game for the Foresters.
Oaks in a big spot here. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Now brings up Henry Borjas, who's pinch hitting for Cade Falskin. Walked his first time at the plate. He fouls that one back off to the right. So the sun really coming down. We can start to see the shadows of the trees appear onto the field here at George Sparky Anderson Field.
Less than an hour until lights come on the tennis courts and the swim facilities.
0-1 to Borjas, bases loaded. Takes a strike on the outside corner. So it's Schwartz now on third, Veal on second, and Jimenez on first. All guys that can fly around the bases. Borjas looks on for his second time today. It's in the dirt for a ball, 1-2.
Yeah, Borjas, you saw him fly all the way around first on that error by Colin Taylor at third base. It was back-to-back walks by Jimenez and Borjas, and then a bunch of offensive traffic ensued.
Borjas takes the ball upstairs, 2-2. So the Oaks looking to make it 3 wins this season versus the Barons here. 2-2 to Borjas. Swung on high. That's going to stay in the infield as Schmidt comes under it and collects the first out. So runners stay on their bases, and now brings up Tommy Kenlinger up to bat.
Well, sort of a little bit of a late infield fly call there by the umpire. It was a little bit of a tough play as Schmidt came running in from first base, but definitely a needed first out by the Barons.
Tommy Kenlinger advanced on an error in the 7th inning that did bring home 2 runs. In the names of Jack Jimenez and Henry Borjas. Kenlinger takes a ball outside, 1-0.
Benuelos, coming in this inning, he's certainly faced a lot of trouble with the Conejo Oaks. No runs yet this inning, but Oaks certainly giving him a lot of trouble to work with.
Takes a ball inside. It's now 3-0 to Kenlinger. One more ball and that'll bring home Schwartz. And 12 runs is a season high for the Oaks here, outlasting their 11-run win versus the Saints, as that is high for ball 4, and Schwartz will come home as it is a walk for Tommy Kenlinger.
Well, the Oaks now with a 7-run cushion. It's 13-6, the biggest lead that the Oaks have had, and we may see a pitching change here.
There is action in the Barons bullpen, as it'll be Ethan Gonzalez to bat. We'll see what the call is at the mound. And right now the Barons have gone through 7 pitchers. That is including Benuelos.
Looks like he's going to stay out there.
He's going to stay on the mound. It's just 1 out for the Barons and a bases loaded as Gonzalez now steps up. A walk from Tommy Kenlinger brought in Jake Schwartz, who scored now his 3rd run of the day. So 1 out here for Gonzalez. takes a strike. And Jacob Galloway due up. Oh, 1 to Gonzalez. Takes the ball low. Count now at even at 1. One to Gonzalez. Takes another ball outside. 2-1. One to Gonzalez. Bases loaded. Just 1 out for the Barons. That swung on. Gonna hit down in center field for a base hit, and here comes Veal for the 14th run of the game for the Oaks.
Yeah, nice hit there by Ethan Gonzalez, and after Isaac Veal was robbed of a hit back in the 6th inning, thanks to that diving catch by Lujan in center, the Oaks had to be sure that that was going to drop, because when you see a play like that, that's when you really know anything can happen.
So bases remain loaded. Ethan Gonzalez gets his first hit of the day, as well as an RBI, and this brings up Jacob Galloway. Swung on the first pitch. That's hit high to right center field, and Klinowski waits under it. He is going to get the out, but here comes Jimenez for now the 15th run of the day as he tags on from third. And so the Oaks continue to pile it on in the 8th inning as it is a sacrifice fly from Jacob Galloway. And now brings on a pinch hitter in Anthony Thomas. So bases still remain loaded. So now Anthony Thomas, the catcher for the Oaks. 2 down. Thomas looks at a strike on the outside corner.
Anthony Thomas, he was at the beginning of the season the regular starting catcher for the Oaks. We've seen him and Galloway make many starts, and Nolan Johnson, too. We've seen him start behind the plate.
That swung on, gonna get past Akiyama for a base hit. Here comes Kellinger, and Thomas holds at first, and so an RBI single for his first at-bat today, and that's gonna add 16 now to the board for the Oaks, as they have completely blown this game open, and now it is a 10-run lead here in the 8th inning.
Boy, the Oaks just keep on piling on runs here.
And Gonzalez is now at third base, Thomas at first, and that brings on Tyler Hawley, who now, unless a taken upstairs.
One thing I will say is that in D3 baseball, in depending on which conference it is, there is a 10-run mercy rule after 7 innings. That's the case in the SCIAC.
Hawley looks at one in the dirt, and Gonzalez is going to try his luck going home, and he gets there in time as he gets in for now the 17th run of the game. And that is crushing any single season run total that the Oaks had.
Is it 1-0?
So 2-0 to Hawley, and unless there's a caught stealing or pickoff, the Oaks would have batted around. 2-0 to Hawley. Thomas looks on from second. That's low for ball 3. So it is now 7:47 on a Wednesday night here as the Oaks have dominated. It's outside for ball 4, so a 4-pitch walk as Holly will take a stroll. And the Oaks have now officially batted around in the 8th inning as that brings back Jake Schwartz, who got things started with a single and then was eventually brought home.
This might also be a good time to mention that up in the broadcast booth, we have an over-under bet of when this game will end.
And
what was it, 7:59, I believe, that we said?
It was 7:53.
7:53 is, okay. Well,
And
now it's 7:48, so.
And one of our statisticians, Colin, is only grinning because out of everyone here, and there is a lot of people up. There's at least 5 people up here. He took the over, so I know he's proud of his betting ways. The rest of us took under. I mean, I thought we'd get through this little foul. I did not expect what is now a 5-run 8th inning. And guys, I couldn't honestly tell you when this inning started, but it has felt like one whole game itself as we now have a pitching change, and we'll be right back. We've returned to action here in the 8th inning as the Oaks have completely piled it on as they now lead 17-6, and we now have the 8th pitcher for the Barons today. That is Sebastian Diaz. He throws a strike on his first pitch. Diaz is now making his 3rd appearance. Last played in the Saturday loss versus the Oaks 6-3, where he pitched 1 inning, faced 3 batters, has just 1 strikeout on the season, allowing 0 hits. That's in for a strike.
30 minutes of this inning.
Well, 8th pitcher, we are in the 8th inning. Principally, that would mean every pitcher there has been another, or every inning there has been another pitcher.
So the 0-2 to Schwartz. Runners on 1st and 2nd. And that's fouled off to the right. Just went right of that first baseline.
That was very close. Very tough to tell from here.
Yeah, and with a hit that was just the velocity that he hit it at and the angle that it was going, there was at least another run brought in by the Oaks, as it's Tyler Hawley on 1st, Anthony Thomas on 2nd. So Jake Schwartz looking at an 0-2 count. 2 down for the Barons. That swung on foul off to the left. And so right now it is 7:51. It's now total game time of 3 hours and 21 minutes. I think that's outside for a ball. Now, I don't know if my math is correct, but I would be pretty sure this is the longest game the Oaks have played this summer.
Mm-hmm. By far.
So 1-2 to Schwartz. That's low for a ball. 2-2.
Why is it so?
Well, you look at an 11-run lead for the Oaks.
they've pretty much, if you just take the past 2 innings for the Oaks where they've scored 3 and 5 runs, it would be, and that ball gets past Ocampo on a wild pitch from Diaz, so runners will advance to second and third. But I mean, if you just take the runs that the Oaks have scored in the 7th and 8th inning, they would still be beating the Barons 8-6, I should say. But it is a 8-inning game. As Schwartz lines that into right field, that drops for a hit. Thomas comes home. Holly's going to stay at third, and so that will add one more to an already dominant 18 runs that the Oaks have scored here. And that brings up Isaac Veal for now the 2nd time in this inning.
Yeah, 6 runs in this inning that the Oaks have scored, and not that anybody still listening cares, but Jude and I have run out of room in our 8th inning column in our scorebook.
Yeah, I just got to move it over an inning, and I can't imagine this going to extra innings, so I think I'll be...
For more reasons than one.
That's high for a ball, so 1-0. I mean, there's batting around, and then there's guys that are coming up for their 2nd time in the inning with runners on base and 2 outs. So 1-0 to Veal. Takes a strike, 1-1.
That was not a strike, but okay.
And so Schwartz has 2 hits in just 1 inning, adding to his already 5-hit total, which is now a season high for Schwartz. It's inside for another ball. Almost hit Veal in the abs, so count is now 2-1. As Jack Skimenez looks on. And so Colin has officially won the bet. It is 7:54. 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2 for Veal. And I'm not trying to incriminate him, you know, it's all fun and games here. To be fair, it is an 18-6 game. 2-2. That's high for ball 3, up to a full count now. As Jack Skimenez looks on. And you could see just some of these parents for the Oaks just wanting this game to wrap up. The dinner is getting cold at home.
Yeah.
3-2, off goes Schwartz to second. That's chopped over to first as Schmidt gets under it, and the toss is not in time as Veal outruns his chopper to first base. Holly comes home. That's 19 runs.
One run away from 20. That's insane.
And so Schwartz stays at second, and
you can literally hear people laughing in the stands with how late this game is going.
I think even Veal kind of had to chuckle himself because, I mean, granted, he is a fast player, but, I mean, it was just slow delivery as that is in there for a strike.
And it's kind of like the one time you don't necessarily want to keep going, it happens to be a situation where you have enough time to beat it out.
Yeah. Well, you got to give Veal credit, even in 19-6 affair, as Conger grounds that, and that should be the 3rd out as the throw is in time. So we head to the 9th inning as it was a 7-run 8th inning to now add to a 19-6 lead here in the 8th. We'll see you if you're still tuned in the 9th inning. And so it's down to just 3 outs for the Barons, as I think it's fair to say they would need an absolute miracle to pull this one off, as they now trail 19-6, and the sun has now set over the mountains here in Thousand Oaks, so it is now just a little bit of daylight that is keeping this game alive. And it's Braden Lau now on the mound for the Oaks to finish things off. Braden Lau kind of becoming the now closer for the Oaks here, making his 4th appearance. His 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, including 1 save that came against the Philippines baseball group back in June 6. We also had 1 of his 5 strikeouts. Count is 2-2 here for Trevor Schmidt.
Low, a student at Hawaii at Hilo. He redshirted his freshman year in 2023.
So Schmidt gets hit. He's going to walk over to first, and with 0 outs, it's now Jason Del Villar.
Lights are on at the tennis courts out in right field.
That's low for a ball, 1-0. Villar is 0 for 3 on the day. Hit into a double play, a 6-4-3 double play in the 3rd inning. As he drives that into right field, and Boras going to get under it for the first out of the inning, and it's now just down to 2 outs. One down for the Oaks, runner on first. It's outside for a ball. And as long as this game has gone on now, it's almost time to put on a hoodie.
Almost getting time to put on a hoodie up here in the broadcast booth.
As popped high off, foul to the left. So 0-2 here for Villar. As Tommy Gooden looks on. It's outside for another ball, 2-1. As that's grounded, Falskin pitches over to Gonzalez, turns it for 2, and that ends it with a double play here as the Oaks dominate the Barons to get their first win of the week, and they also set a season-high 19 runs scored as they now get the 3rd win over the Barons on this season and improve to 7-3 on the year. And we'll bring you guys into the broadcast booth, and
what
it was
you can still see of it.
and quite the game that it was, as like I said, a season high in runs, 19 for the Oaks. Sammy, what did you make of this game?
Well, the Oaks offense exploded today, and I think we had to kind of know that after the Oaks got shut out yesterday against the Arroyo Seco Saints. Obviously, they were not happy about that, and I'd even say they were embarrassed by that loss, and you knew that today they were going to come out with a lot more fire, and they came up just 1 run short of 20 runs, but by far their season high in runs this season, and you know they've got a lot of momentum heading into Friday's road match against the Orange County Riptide at Great Park in Irvine, California for a 7 p.m. start. Oaks now 7-3 on the season, so we'll see some good baseball on Friday, and we hope to see everybody tuned in on Friday at 7 p.m.
Yeah, so they get 19 they get 19 runs on just 12 hits, but like Sammy said, they have an off day on Thursday, and they'll be back in action on Friday at 7 p.m. on the road versus the Orange County Riptide. Alongside Sammy Fawn, I'm Gito Conyas, and the rest of our crew here for the Conejo Oaks at George Sparky Anderson Field. We hope you have a great night, and we'll see you Friday.